Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
Agreement by which we can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right
to live? Good morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen some people do it well. But you've never seen anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back for another very interesting episode of the Roger Report Live. We are going to be looking at something that happens, but I wonder if it should even happen. We are going to be looking at children being charged as adults. All right, children being charged as adults. Should this is this even okay? Okay, is this even okay? Children being charged as adults, y'all. Is this even okay? Now, before we go too far into this, I want to say shout out to all the people who give me views on a regular basis that make up the fam around here. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to the people who leave comments after the stream, because it does help with the channel, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Shout out to the people who save up the hype every week, y'all, because that's all I'm gonna ask you for. Just make sure you give me one hype a week. Okay, but shout out to the people who do that. You know, the people who light me up every chance they get. I very much appreciate you. And shout out to everybody who hit that like button. You know, no one should ever miss hitting that like button. You know, even if you're not that familiar with them, you get the best content on social media right here. So That like button shouldn't be that big a deal for you to go ahead and press over here. So everyone, make sure you hit that like button. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty. The people who put a little money on the wood. You know, shout out to everyone who's a financial contributor to the channel because y'all make a world of difference. And as I talk about that, I'm going to give a special shout out to my main man, Jado. Appreciate you, Joe. Appreciate you. Well, Jado, appreciate you. Real talk. You know, all money on the wood is good over here at the Roger Report Live. All money on the wood is good at the Roger Report Live. So shout out to Jado for your continued support. Appreciate you big time. Appreciate you big time. And that is real talk. And I'm going to say shout out to some of my people that check in because when you start a show, it's always great to see that you got a few people locked in and rocking with you. But y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, Trail Bentley, has done it again. I don't know how he do it so much, but he's done it again. And even when he ain't, he be like second or third. He be making. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. I appreciate your enthusiasm big time. Hope it spreads. But shout out to you. He's representing as he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. And my personal favorite, hashtag Hail Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to Tunnel Runner as well, coming through right behind him. Great to see you. Great to see you. Floyd Thompson is also at the cool table this morning. Yay, yay. Glad to have you in the building. Glad to have you in the building. Music Man 1982 is checked in. Great to see you. Bronk is in the building. Great to see you, Bronk. We got Bunga Bunga in the house, okay? Bunga Bunga in the house. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Y'all. Shout out to you. Trey, you know what it is. You know what it is. But we're going to get into it, y'all. We're going to get into it. Now, this is a good subject to have, something I wanted to do, and we done had some great examples come up later that, if you ask me, you got to take this type of stuff into consideration. We have children being tried as adults. Now, the crazy part is we're legally acknowledging that they're not adults while also making them pay the penalty of an adult. Now, people, as a slang term, use that word diabolical. Okay? People use it as a slang term. They say something diabolical. It doesn't mean it's actually diabolical, you know? But you kind of get what they saying when people say the word diabolical. That's crazy. It don't seem quite right. You know, should it really be there? Well, I'm going to say this may be an actual fitting place where you use the term diabolical. Children being charged as adults. So we literally are going to acknowledge that these are not adults, but make people pay the penalty of an adult. If that don't fit diabolical, what does? Okay? Now, that is not me saying that children can't do things that are totally horrible. You know, any person can end up doing something totally horrible, especially when you're a child, because you don't think as well as you do when you are an adult. But I mean, come on, man. Why are we charging the kids like they grown folk? Now, I have said time and time again, if you've been rocking with me over the years, I'm going to treat you one way. If you're 17 and 364 days. Yes, you could be 17, 364 days. I'm going to treat you a different way. Now, on your 18th birthday, I'm going to look at you different because in my eyes, we shouldn't be trying to even treat no kid like an adult. What is wrong with us that we want to treat a child like an adult? Now I understand you got children growing up, and we as parents got to measure certain things out about, should I require this from a child? Should I require that from a child? You got to teach them to be able to get along in the world without you if you consider yourself a good parent of any kind, even if you're a person who has influence on children. Do you really treat a child the same way you would treat an adult? Can you really justify that in your mind? See, these are real questions that deserve real answers. Now, I have said time and time again that I ain't treating no kid like an adult. So where am I on the subject? It's hard for me to hide that. It's hard for me to hide that. I don't care what's going on. If it's a child, it's a child. Okay? I think that's fair to treat every child like a child. Now, if you do something that happened on your 18th birthday, it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. You know, that's just how it worked out for you. It ain't the end of the world. Okay? It ain't. You got something a little more challenging to get through if it happens on your 18th birthday, but it still is what it is. And that's real talk. So why do we live in a society where we say we want to protect children, but if the child does something we don't agree with, we want to do the child like we would do an adult? Like, isn't that automatically, you know, this, we're not supposed to be giving people, what is it? I'm trying to think of the term that they say, like something about unusual punishment. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't supposed to be giving kids, especially kids or just anybody, like unusual or just kind of extra punishment. We supposed to give some type of dignity or grace to even a prisoner. Okay. But if we're going to acknowledge this kid is not an adult, how is it fair to acknowledge that they just a child and immediately, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Y'all, appreciate you. Great Black Reset got my back. Trail Bender got my back. Cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah, we supposed to be trying to avoid cruel and unusual punishment. Now, how do you not give cruel and unusual punishment when we say this is not an adult, and then immediately treat the kid like an adult? That don't sound right to me. It never did. I doubt it ever will. It just don't sound right to me that we put it in your face that we get you not a kid. Okay, look, youngster, you done broke the law some kind of way, or we think you done broke the law some kind of way because you're innocent till proven guilty. We're acknowledging that you are not an adult. But if we convict you, we're gonna do you like we would do an adult. Man, that's playing in people's faces if you ask me. Okay? That's playing in people's faces if you ask me. And also, I've always thought that gives certain people way too much power. Okay? Who should have the power to do a kid like that? I mean, who should have that power? We are acknowledging it's a kid. The kid may have done something wrong or be suspected of doing something wrong, but we give people the power to screw the child over as if they were adult doing something wrong. I mean, when you say it out loud, to me, it don't even sound right. And I understand there are more heinous crimes than others. It happens. There are more heinous crimes than others. But that does not mean I'm supposed to switch up just because the kid did something that can even be considered more heinous. All right? Now, as of recently, in the news, there's been a thing about this child. Yeah, that's what it is. A child who done mess around and got access to a gun and done shot a 7-month-old. Now the child is 10. It is is it really cool to charge a 10-year-old as an adult? Now I understand the baby done died, y'all. Let's put that on the table now. The baby done died. The baby ain't coming back. Baby was only 7 months old at the time, as it's been reported. Okay, baby was shot in the head. Baby dead, gone. It's over with. Baby in the box. Finito. Okay, finito. I understand how serious this is. You should understand how serious this is. It's over with for that baby. 7 months, no number 8. It's a done deal. Now that sounds extremely tragic to the average person. Legitimately sounds tragic to an average person. Okay, absolutely legitimate for anyone to take that as that's extremely tragic. Absolutely legitimate. But now, if I'm an adult looking at this situation, and I got to look at this kid and say, what should I do with the child who killed another child? Now, the other child is 10, as reported. Now, do you know some right from wrong as a 10-year-old? Sure you do. Okay. Do small children understand death is permanent? Some do, some may not. Do you understand it at 10? It's possible. Possible. Okay. It's hard to say what I remember doing as a 10-year-old, like having deep political thoughts or something in my head as a 10-year-old. I don't know what I thought when I was 10. I don't know if I really understood that death was permanent when I was 10. And why am I going to say that? Because children have imagination. And there's a lot of things presented to children where people do get back up. No matter what you shoot them with, they get back up. Happens in cartoons all the time. Do I think something's wrong with these cartoons? No. I seen Road Runner and Wild E. Coyote. I'm talking about shooting rockets at people, man. Getting blown all the way up. Okay, TNT happening. All right? These are cartoons and whatnot. But we get this message that, yeah, you could kill them, but they're going to be all right. You just got to wait a few seconds. They're going to be all right. In some cases, you might have to wait a few minutes, but they're going to be all right. Now, somebody's going to say, well, if somebody's 10, they can decipher that the person ain't getting back up. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. I haven't personally had to think about this stuff for a while. Now, whether I agree that the kid understands or not, as an adult myself, I can't see myself punishing a kid the same way I would punish an adult. That means something wrong with me. I'm going to say that. That's how I look at it. Why would I treat this child who don't understand the world the way I do? I know the kid don't understand the world the way I do. I am not sitting here saying that we can give a kid a pass for doing something wrong. I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is, when am I wrong if I treat the child like the adult? Now, I'm acknowledging legally, when we put them on trial, y'all, we are legally acknowledging that this is not an adult. But we finna do this kid dirty because we finna treat him like one. Now, how are we not treating this child dirty if we're not going to treat them as a child? Even if they did something very, very bad, like shooting a 7-month-old. Now, I'm not happy that a 7-month-old got shot. And I'm not saying this is the only example anyone can use or make an argument about. But what I'm going to say is very convenient for this particular situation, because I was going to do this show regardless. What's very convenient is no one can really argue that the 7-month-old did anything wrong. Okay? Well, I seriously doubt anybody's going to come up here and argue that the 7-month-old had it coming. Okay? Nobody's going to say that. We're going to respect the fact. And my personal condolences to the family if they happen to hear this. that your child was killed. Okay, I'm very sad that you got to go through that. I feel very sad for you that you got to go through that. And that's real talk. But I am going to use the child as an example in certain ways, not to dishonor the child, but it's a 7-month-old. You can't say the child was bogus. You can't say the child was wrong. You really can't say the child had any ill intent. It's a 7-month-old. We can't say that. So, of course, we want to protect the 7-month-old. Now, something tragic happened and the 7-month-old got popped. But as an adult, I don't think I should treat a 10-year-old the way I would treat somebody who was 25, the way I would treat somebody who was 35, the way I would treat somebody who was 45. That sounds crazy to me, man. That sounds crazy. Why are we treating children as adults? Okay. Now, the Carmelo Anthony situation, is still kind of close to this particular talk. Okay. Because Carmelo just got treated as an adult. He killed somebody. They're dead. They're gone. Finito. Now, I'm going to say there's plenty of room for you to argue that Austin Metcalf had it coming. He created a situation where death could come about. Okay, not expected, but still could come about. And it did come about. Now, when I look at Carmelo Anthony, I say, okay, well, he was a child at the time. I'm gonna treat it different. Why do you acknowledge the childhood, then treat him like he ain't one? That's cold-blooded, if you ask me. Okay, and I don't say it's wrong because I've been saying, since the beginning of me doing social media, I don't believe in cheating children as adults. So it would be silly for me at this point to say that that's cool in any kind of way. No, I never believe that. And see, it doesn't make a difference what case it is. Now, there are children, a lot of nameless children who've done something wrong. Okay? Heck, we were children and we did stuff wrong when we was kids. I mean, let's be real about it. Who ain't never did something wrong as a child? That ain't happening. All of us have done things wrong as children. Now, and I'm pretty sure most of us have been caught doing wrong at some particular point in time. But how would you, now that you are an adult, if you can look back and see somebody catching you at something that you did wrong, regardless of how small or big it is, what do you think about the people who caught you doing you like they would do any other adult? Whether it be wrong or right, whether legal or not, what would you think about any adult finding out you did something wrong, and then they would just sit there and do you like an adult, and they're gonna acknowledge you ain't an adult. They just throw it in your face like, yeah, we know you're not an adult, but guess what? You finna catch it like you won. You're about to catch it just like you an adult. You may feel some kind of way, but you about to get it. Now you allowed to feel some kind of way, but you're about to catch it. And maybe for some people that ain't calling no police or no authority figure whatsoever. May not even be calling their parents. You about to catch these hands like you an adult. Now what about that, y'all? You about to catch these hands like you an adult. All right. And shout out to the Great Black Reset, man. I see you, brother. I'm trying to get the link in the description. I'm trying to get the link in the chat. I'm having a problem with it right now, but I'm trying to get the link in the chat, my brother, just so you know. I've been trying for a little bit, but I'm trying to get that link out there. Now, I just dropped it in the chat, so hopefully that'll do it. And maybe I may have to, put it out there every few minutes. Okay, but I'm trying to get that link in the chat. I don't even know if y'all see what I dropped. Does anybody see the link in the chat that I dropped? Does anybody see it? Okay, because I can't even tell that y'all see it at this point. Does anybody see the link in the chat? Okay. All right. Now, shout out to Brunk. Bronx say, Roger, he's not being charged as an adult. In Missouri, you could not try any child under 12 as an adult. The most he'll get is 11 years in a juvenile facility. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Bronx, but I am going to say this. Again, I'm against any child being charged as an adult, not just the one that just happened to happen in the news. This is something that I think needs to be talked about because we got children all over the country, and children gonna do bad stuff sometime. And for me to now be an adult, if I look back over my life and I think about a person who treated me as an adult because I did something wrong, even though I was a child, I would be looking at them with a real side eye. Okay. Now I got caught doing wrong stuff. Sometimes somebody told my parents. Sometimes, I got a whooping. I say that, y'all. People could whoop me back in the day. It is what it is. And if I got a whooping, I was definitely trying for people to not to find out. Well, I was definitely trying for my parents not to find out I got a whooping. Okay. I've been put on punishment and things like that. But if somebody did me the way they would do an adult, I would really side eye that person right now. Now, see, I done went through the whole childhood experience. Okay. So I got, better thoughts than I had when I was a child. But if I went back and looked at somebody doing me like they would do an adult, that sounds crazy to me. So a child catch your stuff, right? Or a child steals something from you, right? You run the child down. You catch the child. Child 16. But the child not an adult. Now, if this was a grown person and the first thing you do is get that adult some hands, that I can understand. Y'all both adults. You say, no, I'm gonna beat the brakes off this person because you stole from me. But when it's a child, you gonna do the child the same way? I don't know if that's cool. You gonna do the child the same way. And shout out to Floyd Thomas. He said no link in the chat. All right, because I'm trying to get this link to show up in the chat, y'all. It ain't me holding it back. It's the system, y'all. It's the system. They doing it again, y'all. They doing it again. All right. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do, y'all. I'm gonna do something. At least y'all can see what it is. At least y'all can see what it is. You might have to type it out yourself, I guess. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, y'all, I'm a fair-minded person, but I accept that life is not going to be fair. That is just not a realistic expectation, especially for a black man living in America. It's just not a realistic expectation. All right. It does not mean we can't make an attempt to be fair. Okay. We can make an attempt to be fair. All right. And I think as we make attempts to be fair, we got to consider how we move on a lot of different levels. Is it cool? Is it cool to treat any child the same way you would treat an adult? See, I don't see that from a general concept. I just don't see it as a good thing to do. If they're a child, I'm gonna give them more of a break than I'm gonna give an adult. It's that simple. All right. Now, people can say that could be a good thing. People can say that may be a bad thing. People may say, well, what if they're close to this or close to that? Now, I would tell y'all, as far as I know, my best guess in the legal system is the reason they try children as adults is because if you're tried as a child, I believe when you're 21 years old, you're going to automatically get out of prison. It doesn't make a difference what you did. You will automatically get out of prison. Now, I'm going to say that is some of the motivation of charging children as adults. Because, in the Carmelo Anthony situation, which, people feel a lot about, if they would have charged him as an adult, once he became 21, he would have got out no matter what. And I could understand why people would say, well, we can't just let him out at 21. No, but see, for me, no, I would have just let him out at 21. See, I don't care who you are as a person. If you a child, I'm cool enough to say give a child another chance. A child can do something extremely bad, but that does not mean we should throw that child's life away. Okay? I'm not accepting that we should throw that child's life away. Look, matter of fact, y'all, I just put hold on, that's not even the link to the show. I don't know what happened right there. Y'all give me a give me a moment, because that's not even showing the link to the show. Somebody might be trying to type that out and get in. That ain't even it. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get that corrected, because that ain't it, man. That ain't it. My apologies for anybody who tried it and can't figure out why they can't get in. Well, the reason you can't get in, because again, that one ain't it, y'all. That one ain't it. My bad. My bad. Okay. Now, my thing is, should we be making decisions about people or children being tried as adults and really look at it from some quote unquote hot situation or some hot case like the Carmelo Anthony thing? That's a case that's, pushing people on what color this person is, what color that person is. A lot of color stuff is happening in that particular scenario. My thing is, what about the everyday regular person who don't have a case that's all in the news media? I got to think about those kids too. Murdering somebody is I mean, that's probably the worst crime you can come up with, to murder people. But should we as a society say it's okay to throw that kid away? Because if we're going to try them as adults, that's literally what we kind of saying. Now, we know how stuff go. We know the system ain't fair. Okay. We also know the system, even though it will claim that it's trying to, rehabilitate people. When you think about all the stuff you hear about the system, you don't really hear much about anybody actually trying to rehabilitate anybody else. Okay. So no, I don't believe the system's trying to rehabilitate people. I don't believe that for a second. I'm not saying a person can't be rehabilitated, but I don't believe the system doing it. I don't believe that at all. Okay. I think some children just make a decision to be better next time. The same way I think some adults make a decision to be better next time. But I don't think the system is doing anything to quote unquote make them better people. Now, it's good that the system will give them access to certain things. Now, I don't know how true it is now, but I did mention not too long ago, in a conversation, I don't remember if it was a public conversation or a private conversation, but I remember saying something about people being able to go to college while they're in prison. And programs like that are being cut out of prisons. Now, my thing is, if a person wants to rehabilitate themselves, that's the type of moves you might make. But it's one of the moves you might make if you want to rehabilitate yourself so you could be able to get along in society better. And if you really want to rehabilitate prisoners, the ideal of college and prison would never be removed. Okay? If that was truly removed, my thing, you wouldn't even be discussing something like that if you actually wanted people to rehabilitate themselves. That wouldn't even be a discussion. Okay? That wouldn't even be a discussion. But people make moves like that because it's not about trying to rehabilitate anybody. It's just people trying to get things they want. And to want a child to pay an adult consequence, I'm going to automatically have to put that in my cruel and unusual punishment category. That's cruel to me. And when you're the adult that's trying to make the child deal with something that they shouldn't have to deal with, that's a you problem. You the problem in that scenario. Now, shout out to the Great Black Reset because he done came up, so we know that link works. I'm gonna ask anyone that is anyone that has a wrench, if y'all could post that from time to time, maybe every 15 to 20 minutes or so, if y'all could take that and just post it up from time to time, copy the link real quick. I'm gonna leave it up till the Great Black Recess gives his opening statements. Y'all have a chance to copy it down if you haven't done. But can y'all please post that every once in a while, about 15 to 20 minutes, so people will be able to see the link, and we will rock it from there. The Great Black Reset, your opening statement. You have the floor.
Hey man, good Friday to you, man. This is egregious, man. This is egregious. If you're charging a 10-year-old with a capital murder crime, first degree murder, you you got to be charging the parents with this one with some type of negligence. The child is 10. This is crazy. Now this is what you call nigger laws here. This is what's going on. These are nigger laws. What they want to do is destroy this young man's life before it even gets started. They want him to go into a juvenile facility until he's 21 years old. Man, at 10 years old, you don't have a chance in any facility, in any correctional facility. This is egregious, man. There's no way on the face of the planet that you charge a 10-year-old with murder. I don't care what happened. I don't care if him and another individual was in a full-out fight. You don't charge a 10-year-old with murder. This is insanity. That's like charging a 10-year-old with theft, and they in the store with their parents. Man, come on, man. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. This is too serious of a thing. This child can't even understand death as a whole and complete thing. They don't understand that this life is not coming back prior to pulling the trigger, and even sometimes after pulling the trigger. This is crazy. This is egregious. I don't agree with this in any kind of way. And if Black America want to get upset about a child being charged for something, this is it. This is when you storm the courtroom. The grand jury should be ashamed of themselves. The judge that signed off for this should be ashamed of themselves. The prosecutor should be ashamed of themselves. I couldn't live in this city. One, or if not multiple of those three entities will have a hard time making it home tonight. I promise you. I couldn't be present. I'm gonna land my plane there.
All right, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you. And I do want y'all to understand one thing. This is just a 10-year-old that happen to be in the news cycle right now. I'm talking from a general concept, man. Now, the 10-year-old is happening to be in this right now, but the thing is, there's plenty of other children who are accused of plenty of other crimes. Why would we do this to any child? Why would I make any child pay an adult price for something he did as a child? And I understand, y'all, when you look at murder, yeah, it's the worst one, and people gonna say, well, the victim ain't gonna come back. I get all that. But how do I sit there and acknowledge you a child and then say I'm gonna do you like an adult and can't? And if I do that to you, how can I say I'm not doing you dirty? I just don't treat children like they're adults. I just don't. I would allow them to do something that may be considered for adults to see how they're working with it, or for reasons of teaching. But that's it, man. I'm not gonna really treat no child on any level, really, as an adult. I'm just not doing that because I just don't see how that's fair at all. Now, I'm not saying life is fair. I will say I'm a fair-minded person, but life ain't fair. I know There's always gonna be somebody who's gonna have something that somebody else ain't gonna have. It just is what it is. But as an adult, why would I do this to any child? I don't care what the kid did. I don't see it as right. Period. And what are
The
we trying to
worst,
accomplish by doing this?
the worst child on the planet shouldn't be going through this, bro. There has to be something wrong with the environment for it to have gotten this far. This is why I cannot blame the child. I cannot, I cannot put this on the child. This is craziness, man. How did a 10-year-old get a hold of a gun? That's what we need to be trying to figure out.
No, well,
Now,
and
it's a minor, so a lot of things haven't come out yet. But I can't imagine a circumstance that you can tell me, well, I'm going to charge a 10-year-old for murder. I don't care if it was a ritual sacrifice performed by a 10-year-old. How in the hell did he learn? I'm sorry, Rob. I'm losing control of this. Man. This is crazy.
Well, I do believe they're going after the father of of the baby that was killed. Okay, let me make that plain too. I believe they're going after the father of the baby that was killed, because the baby that was killed was also is from based on what I saw was the gun owner supposedly. But my thing is, before we even get into all that, before it's even about should we go after parents, should we go after a kid as an adult at all? Is there any scenario where we truly can just and I think we just wrong as a society. I'm gonna just tell you straight up truth. I think we're wrong as a society that we can look at any particular situation where we acknowledge you a child and then say we're gonna do you like an adult. That sounds dirty to me. Point blank period.
Well, let me clarify the parent statement. It doesn't mean that simply because you're a parent, you should be arrested because a child did something wrong. What I'm saying is an adult has to be responsible in whatever environment that this occurred, whether you were at school, whether you were at home, whether you were at play. There had to be an adult present that could have prevented this issue. We're talking about a gun. There is no gun without an adult being present.
No, I do get that, but I don't want to go talk that because
No,
my
no, no.
thing,
I was just ranting. I was just
yeah,
ranting, but I just want to be clear about that. Like I'm not saying that parents are automatically blamed because
no,
the
no,
child is misbehaving. That's all
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
even saying you saying that. What I'm saying though, once you start talking about the adults, it's going to move us from should the child be
My
tried
bad.
as,
Not my
as,
bad.
as you know what I'm saying, as an adult. That an
Got
adult is an adult. Adult can handle adult consequences. But my
my
thing
bad.
is, we're talking about children. Children can't protect themselves for the most part from adults. Period. In any regards. It's
Right.
never really a situation where a child is going to be able to successfully protect themselves from an adult. That's extremely rare that that's ever going to happen. So my thing is, who is the real criminal? A child being accused of a crime, or an adult willing to put an adult punishment on a child? Who's the real criminal? But I'm gonna slow down because Bronx done came up, so I'm gonna let Bronx get in. Do what you got to do, my brother. Do what you got to do.
All right, what up, Roger? What up, Chat? This dude over here. Who is this dude, man? Keep
I
trying to
don't
figure
know him
out who
like
this
that.
is, but
I don't know
I
him
don't know
like
him either,
that.
man. I don't know him, but hi to you, sir. I hope you're having a great morning, sir. Whoever you are. But I'm
Sound like you about to go off the deep end for a hot second. That's what it sounded like to me. But I tried to reel him back in. I definitely tried.
but I'm about to read the Shark Sims Times article on this. All right, so I can bring everybody up to speed. Uh, so a 10-year-old boy has been charged with first-degree murder in connection with the fatal shooting of his 7-month-old niece last week in St. Louis, according to authorities. The boy, whose name has not been publicly released, has been placed into the custody of Child Welfare Services and is being psychiatrically evaluated at a hospital, said Joel Carrier, a spokesperson for the 22nd Judicial Circuit Court in St. Louis. If found guilty by a judge, the boy could be placed on juvenile probation or in the custody of the state's Division of Youth Services for as long as 11 years. until he turns 21, according to Bill Prince, president of the board of directors at the Missouri Juvenile Justice Association. Mr. Prince said he was surprised the boy had been charged with first-degree murder and could not remember a similar case. I cannot recall where the premeditation first-degree element has been there, he said. Again, I think I mentioned to you earlier, he is actually the youngest person in Missouri history that's been charged with murder. The authorities have not provided a motive for the killing. It was not immediately clear if the boy had a lawyer. Police officers responded Friday after the call of shooting, or to a call about a shooting at a house on North Broadway in the city's Baton neighborhood, according to a statement from the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Baton is a terrible area, man. That's about 20 minutes away, or 20 to 30 minutes away from where I live. Very rough neighborhood there, man. They discovered a 7-month-old girl, Keomi Parker, who had been shot. She was taken to the hospital where she died from her injuries, the police said. So the authorities have not. Or no, I already read that. But that's the end of that Shark Sims Times articles on this subject. I figured I'd just read that as my opening statement to kind of give everybody all the details they need before they start speaking on this subject matter. Because Reset came up here lost this morning, man, and I can tell he lost. So there you go, man. There you go. I'm gonna land my plane there.
Hold on, let me get this nigga, man. Let me get this nigga. This nigga. First of all, we see what's wrong. The nigga lives somewhere around you. That's what's wrong in the first place. This nigga over here is a bad influence. That's what it is. Number two, there ain't nothing you read in that says a 10-year-old should be charged. Nothing.
I don't agree. He should be charged for first-degree murder, man.
I gotta ask one question before we go too deep off into this, y'all. Did you say the Shark Sims Times? Is that what I heard you say?
That's what that nigga said. The Shark Sims. I agree with that.
The shots are being sent early today. Shots are being sent very early. Let me read this real quick, and then we're gonna get our esteemed guest in here. Shout out to Elder Blood. He said, Roger, answer this question first. What should happen to a 10-year-old white kid that goes around and kills little black kids? Really think about it. Should that white kid be expunged for a black child murder? I'm gonna keep it real with you, Elder Blood. I'm still I don't know exactly what I would do at this particular moment to that white kid that killed the black kid, but at the end of the day, I ain't charging him. I'm not charging no 10-year-old white kid, even though he white and done killed the black kid. Still not gonna charge him as an adult. I think we should agree what should happen to a child who does things in these scenarios and do whatever we agree with to that child. But to do him like an adult, I think we're wrong automatically. We're the bullies at that point because children cannot protect themselves from adults.
I have an answer. I think that the children should be removed from the environment.
He didn't even ask you. He really didn't even ask you.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. This is not the Roger Report live today. I don't know what you thought was going on.
And we got two esteemed guests at this point that really kind of need to check in. But if you want to answer that question, since we know what it is, we can come back to you and answer that question. But I think it's terrible that you want to make Black Uru wait. You know what I'm saying? Which you already saw. Now, I'm going to give you slight credit on our second guest, Attorney Ruffin, because you ain't see that he was here. But just the fact that you want to disrespect Black Uru.
You had Black Uru covered up. Don't do that. Don't do that, man.
But you want to go into answering the question instead of letting him speak. So
man, I just thought I was talking over bro.
No, you know what? It's cool. I see where you at with him. I don't know what happened.
You just disrespected Uru. Uru, go and talk. This man ain't gonna stop.
I don't know what happened between y'all. I'm just taking acknowledgement of where we are right now. So now we see where we at. But Black Uru, I do apologize on his behalf. He may not be man enough to do it himself, but I apologize on his behalf for even attempting to make you wait. But you have the flow, my brother. You have the flow.
I'm sorry. I'm up here with Raj. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roger. I hope you and the gentlemen on the panel, folks in the public chat, are doing well.
I do believe at least two of us appreciate you being here. At least two of us appreciate you being here.
Well, I appreciate you too, whoever you are. Bronx said something in what he read that was very important. And that is they're keeping private or anonymous the identity of the child. So they're protecting the child while they charge that child with first degree murder. Think about that. How do those two go together? How does protecting the identity of a first degree murderer go together? Where have you ever seen or heard of such a thing? Where? When someone's charged with first degree murder, his or her, usually his, and especially if he's black, image and likeness is plastered everywhere. We couldn't get away from the image of Carmelo Anthony. We still can't. So how do you protect the identity of a first degree murderer? Well, you do so in a schizophrenic ass system whereby you charge a 10-year-old child with murder. That is fucking insane. Nobody else does that anywhere else on this planet does that. Nowhere else does that happen. And we know that this boy got charged with first degree murder because he's black. We know that. We know that will not happen to any other demographic of child in this country. We know that. Now, there's been a lot of bullshitting in the black manosphere on these issues of murder and kids and whatever. Carmelo was not supposed to be charged with first degree murder. He was 17 years old. He was a minor. How does a 10-year-old get a jury of his peers to try a case? How does that happen? How does that happen legally, morally, ethically, biblically? How in the fucking the known multiverse does that happen? This is a farce. This is a fucking clown show. We're rolling off of the fucking cliff and tumbling into the abyss. This country is fucked, man. It's fucked. And this is just one of the many signs of it. This particular incident right here, and I'll end my ranting there.
We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you for the rant. Okay. And we have another gentleman who could give one himself if you like to. Attorney Ruffin, you got the floor.
I would like Yummy Sanderfield to go first because after last night's incident, I don't trust this nigga. So I need to know where he coming from first.
Okay, well, let's give the floor to Yummy. What is that, Stanford? You got the floor, my brother.
How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing?
I'm okay.
Well, my Chicago brethren should know that name, Yummy Sanderfield. R.I.P. to the young brother. It's tragic what happened. And I really don't know how that should be handled. But I know in the streets coming in the story of Yummy Sanderfield, the streets and the people handled it a whole different way than you guys thinking it should be handled. Me a person who be around a lot of the young kids, young boys. I go to the park, play basketball with them and all that stuff, chill out with them. Got little cousins and stuff. They're not as unadvanced as we think they are. But I still don't think that he should be tried with first degree murder. You understand what I'm saying? I still don't think he should be tried as first degree murder. But the reason why I use Yummy Sanderfield because he was the same age as that young boy. And when Brock said, I think it was Brock, when Brock said that it's a horrible neighborhood that he lives in, Yummy was also living in a horrible neighborhood. And I think Yummy might have been 10 years old, either 10 or 11, when he did what he did in the streets, in the whole neighborhood. He was like, yo, he got to go if we found him. And everybody, it was just wild. And the gang wound up taking him out and shooting him like a dog, like he wasn't even a person, because it's something that he did as a kid. And he probably did understand what he did, because they were saying that he did have a couple of more things on his coat. But me personally, it's like I don't understand when we got so liberal as black people, but I still wouldn't understand how you could charge him with first-degree murder. He did murder somebody, and kids do know it. At 10 years old in 2026, they do know what murder is, and they do know guns are bad to be playing with. So I don't know how y'all would handle that, other than I'll probably give him like probably third-degree murder or something like that. But it, I don't. It's just a horrible situation.
How do you charge a 10-year-old with third-degree murder? That's an adult decision process. That you got to go into intent, motive. You got to go into a lot of things that you judge an adult by.
Well, Uru,
you cannot at a 10-year-old. Let me finish.
Uru,
let me finish.
Uru,
A 10-year-old, you cannot know the development stage, the mentality, the position. You cannot know that of a 10-year-old. That's why we have a cutoff between 8-year-old as to making a determination as to whether or not someone is an adult. We say arbitrarily, this person is an adult. We made a decision as a society that at this particular age threshold, this person is an adult. Sometimes that 18-year-old is very mature. Sometimes that 18-year-old is not as mature. But fine, we use that as a line of demarcation, adult, child. We allow an adult to do certain things because that adult can take full responsibility for his or her actions. A 10-year-old cannot take full responsibility for his or her actions. So you cannot treat that 10-year-old as an adult. You cannot. Not decently, not rationally, not ethically. You can't.
If I have permission to finish something, I would love to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He's going basically off of emotion, and he doesn't have the fact. He was not one of the investigators at the crime scene, so you don't even know if there was.
He's a 10-year-old. We're talking about a 10-year-old.
You don't even know if he took the gun out.
It doesn't matter. Those details do not matter. He is a 10-year-old. He is legally a child. You cannot treat a child as an adult. It does not matter. None of the details matter. He is a child.
Ooh, I thought we had a conversation about cutting people off. You don't even you weren't an investigator on the scene. You don't know if that boy went and got the gun, walked into the place, into the room where there was a crib and point. You don't know none of this. Now I can see if he was just playing around with a gun and the little girl was there and he pulled the trigger and it just messed up. We don't know any of this. And that's what Nameless Protagonist was saying about the other case. That's what Jado was saying about the case. Yo, they play. You're not getting all of the facts. Yes, it is.
You know, okay. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of why that is not.
It's a lot relevant because that's why.
Let me tell you why that is not relevant. Let me tell you why that is not relevant.
That is why I use this.
A 16-year-old can go into a car dealership and say, I want to buy this Ferrari. And that 16-year-old can have $1 million in his pocket, and sign that contract to buy that Ferrari. Why can that child not walk away with that Ferrari? Even if he drive it off, is that a legal sale? Why would that not be a legal sale? Even though that child, that 16-year-old wants you, because a 16-year-old in the United States of America cannot sign a contract without an adult co-signer. He cannot, because he is deemed by society to be a child, regardless of his intent. He is deemed by society to be a child. So regardless of what that boy intended to do, he could be a fucking a serial killer in his own mind. He could have planned everything. He could have organized everything. He could have done all of that. Bottom line, he's only 10 years old. So he has no business being treated as an adult, period. It doesn't matter what he did.
I don't think hold on. Emotionally, I don't think you was listening, because I said I don't think all of that whole everything he's charged up with is cool. I said like first degree murder is crazy. I literally said that.
I'm in 100% agreement with Uru. I don't want Mr. Ruffin to have to wait too long, but I'm in 100% agreement. It's impossible to charge properly a child, man. The only thing you can do is remove that child from the environment and give them psychological treatment to figure out what happened and what went on, so you can try to prevent it in the future, bro. You cannot charge a child, man. I don't care what he did.
All right, I want to say shout out to Great Black Reset for saying that he don't want to wait, make Attorney Ruffin wait too long while making him wait even longer. That was like brilliant. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that was, but you literally said, "I'm gonna make this dude wait," by saying, "I don't want to make him wait." Okay,
you wait till we get backstage. I got some choice words for you, sir.
I just want to acknowledge that.
I can't wait for the 3-hour mark. I can't wait. Go ahead, Mr. Ruffin. Go ahead, Attorney Ruffin.
And I would like Truth Tellers again right behind Mr. Ruffin. Well, Attorney Ruffin. Okay, you got the flow, my brother. I apologize for the disrespect my other guests are showing towards you today. I'm gonna try to talk to him later on to get it back right, and hopefully we won't have to deal with this as a public matter. But I do apologize on behalf of the Roger Report Live.
No problem, Roger. Thank you. Reparations will be paid at a later date. I will make sure of that, so it'll be okay. Before I start, I want to say shout out to the gentleman on the panel. Truth teller, I did not get a blowjob today. I am not dealing with your shit. Stay on your side of the playground. I do not have time for the mental gymnastics. All right, now moving forward. So I understand this is a very charged discussion, a very sensitive discussion. But before I make my statement, I want us to think about the criminal justice in its totality. You have the victims and you have the perpetrators. And in this case, let's remember that a 7-month-old lost their life. 7 months. So, and there is something called, does the court have a responsibility to make sure that the victims and the victims' families get justice? So if you were the parent or the sister or the brother of that 7-month-old that died, would you be so adamant about this? Because in the criminal justice, no, don't get me wrong. This is absolutely, as Reset said, like nigger laws, because this all comes from the 1990s Super Predator, which was popularized by Hillary Clinton and Obama's Vice President Joe Biden. So yes, there's definitely the underracial tone, but that's in all of America's criminal justice system. But there is something to be said that the law has to be effective enough that people don't want to take retribution in their own hand, because we cannot have a land of vigilantes. And from the side of the 7-month-old, if that's my child and die, I would not care that we're trying a 10-year-old who took the life of my 7-month-old tried as an adult. And this is where I could see why being charged as an adult at a 10-year-old, because this still is a heinous crime. And I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Hold on,
Now,
hold on. The father
so
of
truth,
the
bro. Let's let truth teller get in, and then we got room
man,
for all that good
man,
stuff.
Truth teller could be on some foolishness, man. You really want this? You really want this early?
Control yourself, fellas. Control
Can I
yourself.
give truth teller the same respect that I gave you? Can I do that? Can I do that? That's all I'm saying. Okay. Truth teller, my esteemed brother, you have the mic, sir. Please do what you do.
See, the nigga don't even want to talk.
Lord have mercy. Truth, don't do me like this, truth teller.
Yeah. The nigga don't want to talk. I'll take it 2 minutes.
All right.
Truth teller, we don't hear nothing, man. We don't hear nothing.
Hey, man, listen. Like I was saying, until Truth Teller come in, the father of the 7-month-old is the one who was in jail because it was his weapon in this particular case. I do get that as a parent, you're supposed to be mad because your child died. But the father of the 7-month-old is the one who was negligent. This is what I was meaning by the parents. There has to be an adult that is responsible for this crime when a 10-year-old gets their hands on a gun.
But I don't want to throw off the subject matter. This is not about what we're gonna do to the adult. It is not about. This is about what's happening.
No, this is not about. This is me defending the 10-year-old.
The other thing is to kind of address what Attorney Ruskin said. You know, sometimes things happen and there's just it's just a clusterfuck all the way around, right? Because you were alluding to sort of the retribution of the survivors of the slain. And that's a righteous position. But what happens when the slain and the killer are children and their blood relations to each other? It wasn't the boy the uncle of the baby?
Yes.
So who are you reaping in that kind of scenario? Look, it would be different if this was some neighbor's child or some child you didn't know and came into your house and shot your baby. Yeah, maybe you might want to burn that child down. But what happens when that's your little brother or the cousin or whatever? It's a situation. Let me finish. This is a situation for which everybody's fucked. Everybody involved is fucked. And there's no way anybody's going to feel good, because even the people who lost that child is going to feel bad about having their nephew or their little brother's life completely ruined in that situation.
Well, this is what I would say. Cain slain Abel. Jacob took his brother's birthright. So at the end of the day, and these are brothers, these are not even distant relatives, these are brothers, right? And Shark Sims, did all types of crazy shit to his brother's wife. So that stuff happens. At the end of the day, your child lost your life at the hands of a distant relative. Again, there needs to be retribution there, right? And if the court system, like for example, if my nephew, God forbid, took the life of my 7-month-old child, I do not care. Now that's just me. Everybody's going to be different, but again, at the end of the day, right? There is a balance between the victim and the perpetrator, because yes, you're absolutely right when it comes to how do you ethically have a trial with a jury of your peers. You can't have a jury of 10-year-olds. So that's absolutely correct. But again, on the same note, criminal justice system has to be also on the side of the victim and also have to execute the right amount of justice. And in this case, I think it's fair.
Well, I don't know how, again, because part of justice has to be about the ability of people to be reformed and to even deduce what happened, why it happened, what can prevent it, etc. And that gets really dicey when you're dealing with a 10-year-old, when you're dealing with a human being that is not fully formed in terms of even understanding morality and ethics and justice and all those kind of things. And you're going to make a final permanent decision on that person's life that's going to affect them forever at 10 years old. And they aren't even established really as a fully formed human being. That's not helping society. Who is that helping? It's not helping the family. The family lost a baby and is going to have the baby's uncle's life totally ruined. So it's not going to help. The family ain't going to feel good about the child, about the 10-year-old's life being ruined. So who's feeling good? Who's being improved by giving that boy a first-degree murder conviction and all the trimmings that come with that? Who's being served by that? Other than white people who get to say, "Great, we got to destroy. We got to destroy one before he even got to be an adult." It helps white society.
Brother, we got to get Truth Teller in here, y'all.
But I mean, not really.
I mean, but if Truth Teller say something first, he kind of. Well, we don't know, but we got to give him a chance. We got to give him a chance to see if his mic working.
We did. We did. He didn't want to say nothing. I had to take his time.
He went out. He came back in. Okay, he went out. He came back in, and I'm gonna say, brother, you said something, and Black people responded to you. So I mean, go ahead though. But I'm gonna say whatever you say. I'm gonna read this on the screen after the fact, and then I got to get Truth Teller in here.
I'm just gonna say something really quick. Number one, I think the family is well, I don't know if the family is gonna feel good or not. I'm not making a case for feeling good. I'm making a case for retribution. And then number two, a decision was made for a 7-year-old and into his life at 7 months. So to ask for compassion for a 10-year-old when there was no compassion for a 7-month-year-old, I don't know how to respond to that.
I mean, is there ever compassion for the victim? So
real quick, because I said I was going to read this, then I was going.
I'm going off after Truth Teller. I'm going off after Truth Teller.
Look, all right. Shout out to Elder Blood. He thinks so. While everybody is so emotional over murder, what do you call the crime? And then, if not murder, what is it called then? Second, what penalty should be enacted outside of murder consequence? This is the thing. I'm not saying when you reclassify crime. The show is about should you charge a child as an adult, period. Not this particular case, even though this is a hot case at the moment because it is still new. I'm pretty sure, the Carmelo thing, I was expecting somebody was going to mention that, which has already been mentioned.
There's a difference between killing and murder. A killing can be totally justified. A killing can happen in war. Killing can happen accidental, whatever. A murder has implied in it intent, will, motive, etc. Now,
not necessarily.
you didn't murder somebody because you accidentally bumped into them and they fell off a bench and hit their head. That is not a murder. Now, your actions resulted in that person's death, but that is not a murder. So everything, just because somebody dead, that does not mean somebody committed a murder. So then you go into the question of motive and methods and intent and that sort of thing. And so then you got to consider the mind state and the action and the behavior of the killer. Well, certainly one main factor of that is going to be the age of the killer. And is this person even capable of doing all these decisions from which you can even extrapolate whether or not, quote, murder happened?
All right, I think Black Root said that much better than I was gonna say something about that anyway. So I'm gonna let mine go for now, and I'm gonna just go ahead and give it to Truth Teller. Truth Teller, do the justice, brother. Okay, come on.
I am. Happy 4th of July, everybody. This is the nation's 250th anniversary, right? Ain't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay. Oh, tomorrow. Well, tomorrow. Whatever. It's happening.
God bless America.
There we go. There we go. There we go. So this is a clear example, and not even just this case, but cases like this. This is a clear example on why a lot of us can't sit on juries, why a lot of us can't take leadership roles in the community, and why a lot of us really shouldn't be talking about these topics, right? Because the law is conflicted with this. You want a child to take on the responsibilities and the punishments of an adult when they don't have the rights and responsibilities of an adult. And then everybody brings in all this other stuff that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. What happened to the victim, how it happened, why the kid do it. All of that stuff is irrelevant. Because if the kid cannot be responsible for himself in the eyes of the community, i.e. the law, how is he going to be responsible for his actions to be punished in said law? And what we miss is it's hypocritical for us to say, yeah, he got to suffer the type of crime he did. There's got to be retribution and all of this and that and the third. Where it's the kid. If a kid goes out and breaks somebody's window, you don't go to the kid to pay for it. You go to his parents because the kid can't pay for it. So our inability to even stay consistent with our own logic is actually really disheartening at this point. This is why society's in chaos. Stay in your swim lane. Stop stepping out. And everything would work better. That's it for me.
Well, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to give it to Great Black Reset because he said he wanted to say something too. I'm going to say, y'all, this is where stuff gets ridiculous, and that's why I believe we got to make real decisions that we actually stick by. There is going to be a case against the adult. They're saying the gun owner is a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old is an adult, and they treating them like one. So they throwing some charges at him according to reports. They throwing a few charges at the 19-year-old for having the gun, and the fact that the 10-year-old was able to get the gun. So they definitely treating him as an adult. Now, also, while in one case, because remember, we talking about two different cases. There's going to be a 19-year-old there's a 19-year-old dealing with cases, and there's a 10-year-old dealing with cases. The 10-year-old is the assailant in one case, but the 10-year-old is also a victim in the 19-year-old's case. The law can't even make a decision on whether this kid is a victim or not. He's literally the defendant in one case about what he did, but with the exact same situation, he is a victim in the 19-year-old's case.
Yeah, I mean, how is that even possible? How is that even possible? I mean, the fact you're saying that the child had no business and no capacity to utilize the gun, but then you're going to say, but yeah, he's a first-degree murderer with that same gun. I mean, how is that even possible? Well, yeah, it's impossible in America when you have a situation where you can destroy a black male. So of course it's possible. We're going to totally throw everything up in the air and change the rules or break the rules or defy the rules because we got one. We got one. We got one. He fell right in our lap. Now we can destroy him. He already killed another black child, so that was a good thing. So we got a three for here. We got two. We got one dead. We got one we can effectively kill off, and then God knows what's going to happen to that 19-year-old. He might end up just as bad off. He might end up with a felony murder conviction or whatever. He might be just do the same time, I guess, as they're gonna give the 10-year-old for a first degree. And think about it. What comes with a first degree murder conviction? Usually something 30 plus years or life.
Honestly, he deserves it. He deserves a first degree murder.
Well, he doesn't because he's 10.
No,
he doesn't deserve it because he's 10.
I'm talking about the 19.
Oh, the 19. Well, I mean, he may, but even in that case, that's hard to say, right?
Well, they're not hitting him with first degree, but they throwing so many charges at him that by the
they
time
throw a second degree at him. They throw a second degree at him.
Murder,
and then
they charge a 10-year-old with first degree murder, and you hit the 19-year-old with a felony murder charge. How does he not get the same bid? The first degree murder with the 10-year-old only happened because he got the gun from the 19-year-old. How do you not apply that same logic to him?
I agree. Now I agree with you on that.
Well, I'm gonna say, I believe they're going to charge the 19-year-old with. They did say a second or third degree, I believe, but they're also throwing all types of child endangerment stuff at them too. So by the time they finish with them, if they got their way, it's gonna be. He might as well have pulled the trigger. He might as well.
And this is the father. Right of the slain.
Yeah, this is the father.
So he got one count of second degree. He got one count of second degree felony murder, one count of endangering the welfare of a child resulting in death, and 2 counts of endangering the welfare of a child creating substantial risk.
So basically, they got double jeopardy, right? They charge him
pretty much.
Yeah, they charge multiple people twice for the same thing, even though they didn't do it together. Right?
Yeah, and you know what?
Let's think of the harshness of all of that, and consider the possibility. This is a possibility because I don't know the details of what happened. So, but all this happened. We're gonna destroy the 10-year-old. We're gonna destroy the 19-year-old, and it could have been just something as simple as dude leaving the gun without having the safety on, in a drawer, and the 10-year-old saw him put it there. All of that could be just because of something as simple as that.
I thought you had for first degree. First degree.
Hey, let me say this real fast. We got to ask ourselves 2 questions.
No,
we do.
Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing, bro. Don't say nothing. Shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing.
No. We got to ask the right question.
I set my ire aside for Uru and Uru alone. The rest of you niggas, I'm in disappointment with you niggas. All the way back. I've been consistent with this shit. No, there is nobody below the age of 21 that should own a weapon. They are not responsible enough to do it, no matter what environment they come from. This is why I want out of the black community. I don't want to come to y'all fucking cookouts. You motherfuckers are inconsistent. Y'all inconsistent. Now, it's all right for Carmelo Anthony to kill somebody, but now you want to burn a 10-year-old at the stake. I'm disgusted with you niggas.
Okay.
There's absolutely no way that this child should be charged for anything. The 19-year-old is responsible because it was his environment, his weapon, case closed.
Well,
you can't charge a 10-year-old.
At the end of the day, it looks like the 9-year-old had legal possession of the gun because he didn't get no gun charges on him for just having a gun. So it looked like it was a legal possession. But again, y'all, this is not about this actual case. It is not about what happens to adults. This is about the concept, the very concept of children being charged as adults.
I remember when they first started doing this. It was around in the 80s. And it always had a little black boy face on it. I never saw any other demographic of people where this was being marketed as some kind of legal and social remedy. when I first started seeing this kind of thing, it very much, someone alluded to the super predator phrase, very much aligned with that during that time. We're vilifying all the black males, and we're creating a legal system in which we could do the most terrible things to them once we get them in the system. Once they've done something wrong of any level, we can immediately ruin their lives.
Ooh,
So it's very consistent with that.
The niggas from the trench coat, the niggas from the trench coat mafia, they was under 18 years old, and they got tried like adults. So
who remembers Robert Sandiford, bro?
It is what it is. But like I said before, when you read the law, I don't think that little boy should be tried for no first degree murder. If they gonna put him on some murder, that shit should be third degree.
He should not be tried.
He shouldn't be tried for anything.
He should be in a juvenile
he should be tried as a juvenile
arbitration process. He should not all be around any adult criminal process
at all.
Not at all.
I never seen a case where a juvenile committed murder and he got tried as a juvenile.
Okay.
No, it has happened. It's just that it's just weird he got first degree. That's strange.
Okay.
All over this country, any day of the week, a child does something and another child dies, and it goes through the juvenile process, and you and I never hear about it. Every day of the week. Every day of the week. And it mostly involves non-black children. Somewhere in suburbia, they were playing around, goofing around in the swimming pool, and he held little Jimmy's head under the water too long and he drowned. And it's terrible. Oh, he died. Jimmy died. They put it through some bumblefuck county court system. And probably no black people in that county. And little Davy, goes through the little juvenile process and so-called gets rehabilitated and go on with his life. This happens all the time in America.
I never seen gun violence
hold fast.
Juveniles and nigga not get charged as an adult. As gun violence of a juvenile shooting, I never seen that happen. He don't get tried as an adult. Never seen that happen.
All right, y'all. Shout out to Luckman. Luckman says CTP, probation custody / emancipation tax. I appreciate you very much, my brother. Appreciate that. He dropped $5 on the Cash App, so y'all know. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. And a shout out to my main man, No Placeholder, who says the return of Uru tax. Salute to the elder. And I'm gonna say he put some respect on his name because I seen it. It's excuse me. It said $5 at first, and right when I was about to read it off, I saw it jump up to 20. So shout out to No Placeholder who put another 15 on it and got it up to 20 now. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. I don't even know how you did that, but appreciate it.
Can I address something Yummy just said? Now, you know how crazy it is to try a child in the gun situation. How does a child get a gun?
Yeah.
Do you know how much improper adult behavior must happen in order for a child to get his or her hands on a gun?
Bingo.
It's a lot.
So you threw out this phrase that, first of all, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Now, well, you said that's all you've seen. And you from the New York area, there's a whole lot of black folks up there. So yeah, of course they're gonna lock up some black kid from shooting some other kid. I get that. But what I'm saying is all over America, all kinds of foul shit is happening. And it's being swept up under the rug with white folks and these kids. I know about this. I've dealt with these people. And sometimes it involves guns.
Mm-hmm. I went to high school with two friends, and these both my friends, one of them I played football with. I went to high school, one accidentally shot the other. They was hanging out, chilling. They had a gun in there, and the dude accidentally shot the other dude. Other dude was in a coma for like 6 months. He came out the coma. He didn't even get charged. The dude who shot the other dude, I played football with him in high school.
Are you talking about in Queens?
Yeah.
I think I know that case. I know that case.
Now, real quick now, because I believe, Mr. Sims said something about the trench coat mafia. If my memory is correct, the trench coat mafia wasn't that the two kids who shot up Columbine?
Yeah.
So there was no trial in that situation because they was dead. Okay, now I don't know what you thought you was referring to, but I believe the trench coat mafia was the two kids who shot up Columbine, who put school shootings on the map, on the real talk side. But I would say this.
And the Crisco Mafia committed a whole lot of crimes prior to that incident that they got let off on. Remember when we went through that? And I read through all the shit that they had done that included them having possessions of guns and threatening people and destroying properties and
I remember that.
bursting out. Don't you remember? I read through all that, and they weren't even arrested, much less locked up or anything.
Yeah, and then we got Kyle Rittenhouse, who underage took a gun across state line and popped people off, and he didn't have nothing to worry about the whole time. And I do get it, you know what I'm saying, that because of what they were doing, and because there was a rally going on in support of a black person who supposedly or allegedly was mistreated by a police officer. So in his case, Cal Rittenhouse shot nigga level. So he's 17. He killed one of them because he shot 3 people. So I believe he killed. I think he killed one and wounded the other 2, or he might have killed 2 and wounded 1. But whatever the case is, he was good to go. And that's just how stuff gonna work out. But I don't even remember them saying that he got tried as an adult. I remember him getting tried. I'm not sure that he even got tried as an adult. But at the end of the day,
when I look at
we are let me just say this, then you got it, Brian. At the end of the day, we're the adults. A child cannot truly effectively protect themselves from adults. If we're charging children as adults, sound like we being bullies to me. Because ain't nothing they can really do about it.
This child can't even make decisions as to how he should be defended. What if his attorneys offer some deal that's particularly harmful to him? He's not in the position or the level to even make any discernment as to whether or not he's being treated properly. That's why you don't put a 10-year-old child through this.
It's worse than that, Uru. They have to ask his parents to make the decision. They can't even ask him.
Now let me do this because I was gonna get Bronk in here. He did ask to say something. I'm gonna put something on the table, man. We wouldn't let this kid work at McDonald's, but we gonna charge him as an adult. The same kid that can't give you hot cakes and sausages, we gonna charge as an adult. This kid can't make your French fries, but we gonna charge him as an adult. This kid, you wouldn't even take a Big Mac from this kid. And we're not being bullies by charging the kid as an adult. But I'm just saying it's something to think about. But I want to let Bronk get in because he was about to say something. Well, let AL get in first. AL just came up, so I want to get him in too.
Yeah. Hey, I'm at the grocery store, so excuse the beeping in the background. But I was going to say, it's a lot of stuff that they're not saying about the case that really tells you exactly what they're trying to do. Right? Okay, so you got the 19-year-old father of this 7-month-old daughter, and the 10-month-old or the 10-year-old boy, I'm believing that's got to be the 19-year-old's little brother because the 7-month-old is his niece. Okay? All right, there was another 7-year-old there that was present when this all went down. Okay, they not disclosing who that is or what that 7-year-old's relationship is to the 19-year-old boy and the 10-year-old boy. All right, they're not disclosing any of that. Not only that, I'm just going to safely assume that that's probably not the 19-year-old's house. So whose house is it? Whose house did this happen at, and why do they have a 19-year-old teenager that's carrying a gun and putting it under a mattress in their house? So it's what they're not saying. What they're not sharing with us tells us exactly what they're trying to do. They got a 2-for-1. They got at least about the next 11 years possibly of juvenile labor or sweat equity from the 10-year-old. And they got whatever they're going to give the 19-year-old as an adult. They got the sweat equity they're going to get from him. And everybody else is clear free. So I'm going to just safely assume that maybe this is the woman's house.
maybe his baby mamas.
It wouldn't really
You're not
matter
mentioning
though.
any other adults, but you're not. What I'm saying is this: you're not mentioning anybody in the case except for the 10-year-old boy and the 19-year-old father. That's it.
Right, because it doesn't need to go any further. The
Whoa! I thought
19-year-old
AL was
is
supposed
the
to go next. I thought AL was supposed to go next.
He was, but I definitely want to say something about what Bronx just said too. But
yeah.
let's
Sorry,
get you, brother.
Oh no, don't mind me. Y'all just keep up y'all chitter chatter. I'm listening from afar. Go ahead. Y'all running y'all mouths real greasy. Like, keep on.
I was just gonna say it doesn't matter who else and whose house because
Not
the
go.
the
That was next. So
well, you was next time. Go ahead.
I mean, is he going to go or not?
No,
he said
go
he
ahead.
said
He
should.
said go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
He
right.
said
go
he
ahead.
good.
All right, so here's the situation. To the topic at hand, not this case necessarily. We like I hear all this talk, but we're ignoring the victim, and this is where your policies will break down, and this is where you will have issues if you guys were running criminal justice. You gotta also take into account the victim, and when it comes to heinous crimes, the victim gets the right of way. So, for example, if there was whatever the crime was, now obviously, right, you're not going to charge a kid for any every time he breaks the law um as an adult. But when there's heinous crimes against the victim, especially when the victim is also a minor, then I think that opens the door to being charged an adult in some cases. Because at the end of the day, the criminal justice system is first responsibility is public safety. First responsibility, not only so I don't want to hear it's all the other stuff. First responsibility is public safety and justice for the surviving victim or the victims. And I'll pass the mic on that.
So I just want to ask the counter: is there ever a situation where a 10-year-old would have the full rights of an adult?
Bro, I said in the beginning, stay on your side of the sandbox. I don't have time for you today.
I'm not just asking you. I'm asking everybody. Because if
Okay.
you don't ever, if a 10-year-old will never have the full rights of an adult, they should never face the consequences of being an adult.
Again, if I would hope that
Just don't go.
everybody.
You can just leave it alone if you don't know.
I,
If you can't respond to that.
I'm leaving it alone. But my point of the victim thing is because everybody's talking about the assailant, but I'm talking about the assailant and the victim and criminal justice system as a whole. And right now, I haven't anyone talked about on the victim side plus the assailant.
But mistreating a child, and that's what they're doing grossly here. Mistreating that 10-year-old child ain't gonna do a damn thing to help that 7-month-old. It's not gonna help that the 7-month-old is gone.
You got
it ain't a damn thing you can do unless you can metaphysically contact that child or transfer across the multi. There's nothing. That child is gone. So now all you have is what you should responsibly do in the living world. And it's not responsible in the living world to wreck the life of a 10-year-old child who does not have the right, the legal right and the capacity to defend himself. Not in our American criminal justice system. A 10-year-old cannot on his own defend himself. And you're charging him with a capital crime, the highest level, the most punishable crime possible.
Well, I don't agree with the charge, but I'll ask you this, and I'll ask you sincerely, okay? And this is I'm giving you a hypothetical situation, okay? Not this case, but a hypothetical situation. So I'm going to kind of keep to his topic. So could you as a judge go to a family that just lost their 7-month-old child to the hands of a 10-year-old stranger 10-year-old strangers, just say fuck it, we gotta worry about the living and accept? And could you do that? Could you look in the eyes of the parents who lost a 7-month-old child and say what you just said?
As empathetic as I may be to those parents, I am a judge. I must impartially and objectively adjudicate the matter. I can't just be so given to the emotionality of the parents. As terrible as it is what they're enduring, as a judge, my calling and my responsibility extends beyond that. And in this case, part of my responsibility would have to be, this is a 10-year-old fucking child. Why are we even here?
And I want to say something. I want to say something because you brought up, the victims in the situation, and because people got to live with the fact that this 7-month-old is dead. Look, man, when we came up with what we came up with, and I don't know the law as extensive as others will, lawyers and judges, we came up with punishments for when children did the wrong thing. That punishment is because of victims. And what I'm saying is, just because in this particular case, it's a bad thing that happened, and that the bad thing happened to it, the bad thing was caused by a child, does not mean we're supposed to just throw the punishment out as if nobody cares about the victim. We already have punishments. Those punishments are in place to acknowledge there are victims. That's what the punishments are for. So down that a 10-year-old did it, we ain't supposed to throw it out just because somebody feels uncomfortable about these punishments. If you either change the punishments or you leave it alone. You don't start playing or placating scenarios and situations and giving up to bias because it's a particular 10-year-old.
The punishments have changed since 1990. That's 30 years ago. And I have to disagree. The role of the judge is to issue justice.
Hold on. The punishment for a child is the one that's supposed to be applied because a child did it. It doesn't make a difference what changed. He's supposed to get a child's punishment.
But the criminal justice system in 1990 decided that when it comes to heinous crimes, children's punishment need to be extended beyond the juvenile court system. Right? Yeah. That happened in 1990. That's the law.
And prior to 1860, that same legal system said one human being should be able to own another human being. My point is, just because something exists within the legal system does not mean it's right or fair or righteous. And I mean, in my view, when they decided to begin doing that, and there was a very racist and a very targeted motive behind what they did, and when they did that, then to me that's not justifiable at all. If anything, that's the argument for why they should stop doing it. Because when they started doing it, it was a very racist and bigoted reasons behind why they started doing it to begin with.
Well, I want to bring some reality to this before we get to the sponsor of the stream, who's here, my main man Jado. No, we did not make that decision. I don't remember at any point in time where anyone in a U.S. government position made a decision that we're going to start treating children as adults. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't remember they ever making the decision where they're going to say, well, we're going to start treating children as adults if they fall under these particular crimes.
Roger, in 1990, you wasn't even following this kind of stuff.
Listen to me.
That law doesn't say it. Go ahead, finish, Roger.
You got to listen to what I'm saying. I don't remember any governmental body making the decision that if a child does this particular crime, it will now be charged as an adult automatically. I don't remember that ever actually happening.
I don't remember the U.S. Congress passing that.
In 1990.
I don't remember the U.S. Congress passing that. I don't remember a Supreme Court decision authorizing
in 1990. Well,
hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying, y'all. What some random judge did, who does not have the power to speak for the U.S. population, and just because, number one, if they do something that they're not allowed to do, they're not correct, and it don't make it law. Just because people have been allowed to get with something that is literally not legal does not mean they did the right thing. In order for a change to have been made, somebody at some point would have to sign off on the fact that if you commit this particular crime, you will now be charged as an adult. I do not see that happening in the court system because
So
we're picking and choosing.
I think we need to listen before we make statements like that, because it was passed into law in the 1990s. I did not say a judge. I said the criminal justice system. I did not say
okay. What was passed in the law? What was passed in the law?
Hold on. I could tell you because I looked it up. Do you want me to tell him? Sauce?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it gives the judge the ability to charge
it gives
children.
individual states. It gives individual states the allowance, not judge. It gives the individual states, right? It was passed in federal law. Individual states. Again,
you're right. So but what I was trying to point out is they don't have to go that route.
No. Hold on, real quick, because I want to get Jado in, but I want some clarity. What was given to the state? What was given to the state?
A bill was passed for the criminal justice system that now allows states for heinous crimes to charge minors as adults. That is in law, not a judge. It is in law.
Cite the title.
Well, hold on. We don't, guys.
Attributable to what you're referring to.
Well, so Sauce is right, but I think we're going into this for no apparent reason. The law doesn't say they have to. The law says they can.
They can.
This was a determination. So this was the determination of the district attorney to do this, because it is in law that they can do this. But you have to understand, it means that they didn't have to do this. They could have used the minor criminal system to charge this person. A district attorney made the decision that he needs to be we're going to charge him as an adult, which was unnecessary because he still could have been charged as a child.
So
he is a child.
So what? But basically, what y'all are clarifying, as much as y'all are doing it, because I'm gonna say we kind of really need to know exactly what happened, where it came from. But basically, what y'all are clarifying is they made a decision that particular people can be bullied by the court system.
Yes.
Because if you don't make it a flat thing and you make it something where you get to pick and choose, you basically saying we've legally allowed bullying of certain peoples. Correct. That's what we did, which is unconstitutional, because that does not give you the same protection under the law.
It's not unconstitutional.
It's inherently discriminatory. It's inherently
sorry. That's not discriminatory. The ability.
The state, hold on. First of all, it doesn't work that way, because
it doesn't work that way.
States have rights to rule their individual states. Otherwise, you have something called federalism, and the federal court system, the federal government kind of steers away from making things universal because they don't want to be accused of federalism. So that's why
you're not understanding what I'm saying, though, because the thing is, if the state is allowed to use it in this case, but don't have to use it in that case, that means the people in that state are not receiving the same protection under the law.
You just described very casually how and why Jim Crow was created.
That
exactly.
That's how.
Y'all gonna have to sit there.
Right, the quote states' rights that you just cited. That's what created Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we're gonna have to pause it right there. Because Jado is here. We're gonna have to pause it right there. I get it. But Jado, we gotta respect this brother. He get the same 2 minutes that everybody else get to have. Okay, Jado.
I want to say something after Jado, man.
I'm sorry they so against you getting your 2 minutes in. They enjoyed their 2 minutes. I don't know why they don't want you to enjoy yours. But Jado, you get your 2 minutes here at the Right Report Live. We're not gonna say, hey, because it's Jado, he can't have 2 minutes. No, we're not doing that over here. We being fair.
Roger
turning
on everybody today. He's turning on everybody.
I apologize for GBR. But still,
I
go ahead,
call
Jado.
God
bullshit.
damn.
Hey, what up, Roger? What up, fellas? Hope y'all doing good, man. Everybody in the chat, replay gang. Hey, let me start off this way. I didn't plan to start it off this way, but happy 4th to all you gentlemen, man. All right, man. This, I know you guys might not agree, man. This the greatest country on the earth, man. This the greatest country on earth, man. And I sincerely mean that. I sincerely mean that. I know we may not think of it. They don't get it right a lot of the times. I think and things have changed, since, back in the day, whatever. Do they get it right all the time? Absolutely not. For this particular case, I don't know if anyone brought this up. I don't think this young man is getting charged as an adult.
No, I did. He's not.
Okay, cool. But in in cases of in other cases, man, I don't know, man. I definitely don't have the answers, man. I think it's something that we should be talking about, of course. Something we should be discussing. And as far as getting into these the field of law and politics and stuff like that, I think the same way we get behind our young athletes, man, where a lot of energy and a lot of vigor is put behind supporting our young athletes. When we have our young black people that are good and communicating and just maybe just social issues and stuff like that, we really need to get behind them so we can really put the work in to make these changes if we really want to make these changes. Otherwise, we're just talking and getting emotional. I don't know all the I don't know all the specifics.
I created an organization.
Uru, he still got 2 minutes.
No, go ahead, Uru. Go ahead, Uru.
I created an organization that got nearly 20,000 people registered to vote. I trained people who register, who train other people to register to vote. I ran for office twice. One of the times I ran for office, I ran to be on the school board in particular to help black boys. I've done volunteering, I've done tutoring, all that, basketball, I've done all that shit. So, when you present this way, Jado, implicit in that is that brothers ain't trying to help folks.
Well, I don't know why you would take it that way, and it's not definitely, it's not personal, of course, but I'm saying as a whole, we don't get behind stuff like that as a whole. And I commend you for doing your part, but I'm just saying as a whole, we don't.
I disagree.
The evidence is there, man. I don't think. Come on now, are we gonna really?
I see black men all the time, neighbors, whatever, involved in all kinds of shit. There's only so much you can do when you've been ran out of your homes and she done divorced you and all that other bullshit.
That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other.
No, it's not a different. It's not a different.
Come on, man.
The same vigor behind you as we put behind LeBron James. The same way we represent LeBron James and go crazy for him. When you was running for their offices, people should have been behind you wearing Uru for president jerseys. That's what he's saying. He ain't saying people ain't doing it. He's saying we need to put more emphasis and more backing into people doing it.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. People need to back stuff that they think is important. But in order for them to think is important, somebody got to present it as important. I ain't never heard nobody talk about we shouldn't try kids as adults. I ain't never heard. I'm just going to tell you straight, flat out. I ain't never heard one mention of somebody saying we're bullying children to try them as adults. I am the only person I know that had this idea. I'm not saying somebody else didn't have it. I'm just saying I'm just totally unaware that anybody had it. But now, at the end of the day, before you make a change, we first have to get to the point where people agree that a change should even be made. So my thing is, we can take what Jado said. I'm using just an example, Jado. We can take what you said to say, hey, we just ignoring stuff that we shouldn't. No. Somebody got to have the idea first, and somebody got to push the idea for anything to change. All this stuff takes time. At the end of the day,
and my thing is,
do we even agree?
He's not being tried as an adult.
No. I don't care about that case. Remember, that's just something that happened. The show was about should children be tried as adults at all. I don't even think that's right. I think we're literally bullying children to try them, and ain't nothing they can do about it because they children.
Wait, so hold on. The young boy's not being tried as an adult.
Agree.
No, not in this particular case. He's not.
Let me make a point real fast. I'll make a really quick point.
See that? I just want
to. It says in the report. To Roger's point, it says in the report that it is not known whether or not the 10-year-old had a lawyer, but he was questioned. Now, was he questioned in the presence of an adult? We don't know that. It does not say that in any of the news I've read on this thus far. So that is literally bullying.
Well, if you don't know, how do you know it's bullying then? If you don't know,
how can a 10-year-old speak? How can a 10-year-old
with
speak
the permission of the parents?
Everybody, hold on. At the end of the day, the show ain't about the case. The show is about should children be tried as adults.
Yes.
Now that case can be used up as an example, but the show ain't about the case. Is it right to charge any child as an adult?
Well, then I have to take back my statement. Yes.
No.
Yes.
I think maybe in some cases, in my opinion.
Yes.
Maybe in some cases, extreme cases, yes.
I think it's foolish for black men to accept a system that allows the majority of people, if you ever go into a court system, if you ever go into a courtroom, all the people in the official positions who are wearing suits and ties and power business suits, those are all white people. Just walk in there. So you're going to give them the latitude and leeway to decide whether and how to deal with our children. As arbitrarily as saying, well, because he did this in this situation, whatever, yeah, I know he's only 11 years old, but let's treat him like an adult. The black kid. The white kids do the same thing in the suburbs. No, but he's from a good family, and it was an accident. You basically are allowing a system. You're supporting and allowing a system that will be used against you.
No,
arbitrarily.
The reason that is
we're not talking all people. We're not saying just black people. We're saying black, Asian, white, Hispanics. And the second problem is this, right? What about the victim side, right? What if this was your child or your mother, your father, whatever, right? And some teenager did some dumb shit. Nobody here would be like, oh, well, still, that's not. No, you're not saying that.
No. But the thing is, the victim side is already covered.
Please let me finish. So at the end of the day, right, all of it here is very one-sided. And at the end of the day, what is the criminal justice for? Punish, justice for victims, right? Justice for victims, so people don't have retaliate on their own, or you have a state of vigilantism.
Well, this is the thing. The criminal justice system has punishments for children. So the victimization of a person is not being ignored just because a child was involved. There are punishments for children. Well, what I'm asking is, should we just throw away a punishment for a child and give a child a punishment for an adult? Just because we want to do that because the kid can't do nothing about it.
No,
there's
Roger.
no such thing. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as flat justice. There's no such thing as flat justice. Depending on the crime, there's a listed punishment for it, right? So for heinous crimes, in my opinion, if you do a heinous crime against my family, juvenile punishment is not enough justice for me. And so in those cases, I would press for that minor to get adult charges, because there's no such thing as a flat justice.
But you're biased. That's why. Hold on. Can I go?
Black men are 6% of the population and 40-some% of the prison. That's why. That's how you end up with that kind of system because it's not a flat and fair system to everybody, because it allows all this discretion and decision making on the part mostly of 80+% white people. Because of all those reasons, that's why you end up with thousands of exonerations of black men. That's how you end up there, because it's not a flat system, because it's not a fair system, because it's not an impartial system, because it allows you to cherry pick who's going to get tried, who's going to get convicted, and what kind of term they're going to get in prison. Because it's not flat is why you have the terrible system, the destruction of black males in this country. That's why you
can I say what I'm going to say real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go next.
Two 14-year-olds break into a house and murder the owner of the house. They need to be tried as adults.
Facts.
Why?
Why? Because that's a heinous fucking crime.
Hey, this is
hold on.
They still
14.
So what?
They still 14. So because it was heinous means they're now adults.
They broke into someone's home and murdered the people.
Right. But there's laws. There's laws for right, but there's laws for minors that do that. Why wouldn't you enforce those laws?
Yeah,
because
look, if we're gonna say because of the crime, let's try it as an adult. Why don't we just throw out the juvenile system altogether then?
Pretty
much.
Why
should anybody try
Why
as
would
a
we have
minor?
as well. Yeah, you just throw it out.
It's all bullshit.
No.
Y'all know it.
I'm being 100% real about this.
Why would you have it?
If the juvenile system don't matter, then why pretend it does?
Well,
you know
Roger,
what?
if y'all listen to what Hot Sauce said, he literally said it doesn't matter anymore. It's up to the discretion of the state to say we're going to charge this person as an adult or we're going to charge them as a minor if they're a minor.
Well, we should get rid of that rule so we can have more justice. We should just try everybody as adults.
It's been gotten rid of because there's still little mistakes that a kid can make that can lead up to the death of somebody.
There's things they can do where they'll get tried as a child. We need to eliminate all of that. We need to make sure nobody's getting tried as a child.
But hold on, guys. There's one thing nobody takes into account, and Uru mentioned this a minute ago. It has to do with how do you hold a prosecutor accountable for not manipulating the law when you can't hold him accountable for who he presses charges against? And if nobody understands what that means is if those you guys mentioned it, the trench coat mafia kids and all kind of stuff, they didn't get charged with anything. So did they commit a crime? Probably, maybe. But the prosecutor said, no. But then if that's the case, does your vote hold that prosecutor responsible for that? Because most of you won't know.
Well, they did.
That's what I'm saying. You have to understand when you
for murder though.
If I gotta do 10 years because I stole something, that 7-year-old should do 10 years because I stole something.
They didn't do any time. They got murdered.
No.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
No. Listen up.
You're right. My fault. I apologize on that one.
Based on what y'all are using, based on y'all premise, if I get 10 years because I stole something, that 7-year-old should be my cellmate because he stole something. He should get the same 10 years I got.
No.
Nobody made that argument. Wow,
that was a hell of a mix, Roger.
Wow, Reed.
That was a hell of a mix.
Wow, Reed.
Roger,
if you can charge the child as an adult, I'm not making that argument.
Roger, can we have an honest and fair argument? Because
you said charge them as an adult. If I got 10 years as an adult, why can't the 7-year-old get 10 years as an adult?
We consistently said heinous crimes. We consistently said that we did not talk. Heinous is not even stealing. We consistently said heinous crimes, and now you're saying whatever, and that's being discontinuous.
Right. I hear what you got to say, heinous crimes, but you're just leaving it too wide open. No, a heinous crime could be different to everybody. Right?
No, it's not. There's legal
we can make
like my friends who they had a firearm and one accidentally shot the other.
That's not a heinous, obviously.
Right, but wait. As Sauce was referencing earlier, as the victim's family, they might say, hell, he needs to be charged and charged as an adult,
But
right?
it's not a heinous crime,
It's
though.
still not a heinous
How is that not? Did this
You just said accidentally, brother. I don't know. I mean, what? I don't know what else. What else do we need to go off of?
Shooting somebody is not a heinous crime.
Accidental. I don't like. What are we talking about? Can we move first? Can we move on?
Yeah, let's go. Go to the next topic.
I mean, you purposely. See, that's the thing. Like you're purposely.
No, I asked the question and nobody answered. I said, what is heinous? Can somebody tell me what is heinous?
But you, I mean,
Doing something literally on purpose.
Not listening to the argument.
AI's definition of heinous crime. Heinous crime is an act that is shockingly evil, morally reprehensible, and utterly wicked. Now, answer this for me, Batman. How in the fuck can you make that determination from a 10-year-old? That 10-year-old was being shockingly evil, morally reprehensible, and utterly wicked.
You can't do it. For a 10-year-old, no. You can't.
Let me answer that, please. No. Please let me answer Shazam's question. Right?
They got their little, boy, these little side beef, boy.
So, Shazam.
Before you answer, are you gonna answer to win an argument, or you gonna give an answer that's good for society?
He said, "Are you going to do the Roger or are you going to do the regular?"
You know the answer to that one, Roger. Stop it.
So everybody would agree. Everybody would agree that killing a 7-month-old child is shockingly evil. So there you go, Mr. Shazam. Yes.
No. Now, Hostos, I have the.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one right there.
Hold on. We literally don't know the details. Now, if he picked that gun up and went in it in that room, put it in the crib and shot, that's a different story.
We're not talking about that. We're not talking about in general. If a 10-year-old shot and killed a 7-month-old, that is shockingly evil.
I mean, we got to know the context behind it. Come on, fellas. We can't just leave it wide open like that. Come on, man.
Shockingly evil, morally reprehensible, and utterly wicked.
No, I would
possibly extrapolate that from a 10-year-old.
We said no.
For a 10-year-old, I don't think that's really.
Go ahead, I think AL was saying something.
Morally
we all agreed when he read that we said no to that.
Yeah, everyone said no.
So what you getting at, hot sauce? You're going to appeal. You're trying to roll a boat uphill. Stop.
Yeah, he did. He is. Thank you.
The major point to that, and what I was trying to get at while I was asking that question is because that definition in itself is broad. That can be different for everybody. So what happens is, if you're going to apply this rule, charging him as an adult based on this premise, that literally means almost anybody's going to get charged if they commit a crime as an adult, which goes back to what Roger was saying. We might as well just get rid of the criminal system for minors and just go with everybody being an adult.
And also, with a 10-year-old, extrapolating evil and moral and wicked, who's prepared to do that shit?
Yeah, because I'm thinking if a kid found out, overheard that I put $250,000 in his duffel bag because I'm gonna go out and buy me a house in cash, and that kid heard this some kind of way, and that kid breaks into my home, steals specifically that duffel, he leaves everything else alone. The TVs, you can keep that. You can keep the watches. You can keep the jewelry, but he take my duffel bag. Does that not fit the definition of what was given or what a heinous crime is? Does that not fit that definition?
No, that fits the definition of you being foolish enough to allow that child to hear that.
Yep.
Hold on. Let me wait a minute.
That part.
Shazam, you're good. Shazam, you're good. Shazam, you're good. You're good, but you're not great, brother. Because I got you. Because I tried this in mock trial before. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen,
He said, I
There
tried to
are
survive.
there are definitions of what heinous crimes are in the criminal justice system, and I'm going to read it to you right now. Consistently across all states, murder, RAPE, aggravated assault, kidnapping, armed robbery, robbery with a deadly weapon. These are all considered across all states as heinous. Now, common but conditional, aggravated assault, voluntary manslaughter, arson, and aggravated battery involving a firearm. Now, those are conditional. Now, at the federal level, aggravated assault, murder, attempted murder, armed robbery, armed RAPE, and drug trafficking and violent felonies. So there you go. There
This
you
was
go.
not. This was not
So
a murder.
child
Just,
abuse is not even in
just,
any of that? That's
just,
crazy.
just because he was charged with murder does not mean he committed a murder.
Thank you.
That's true. Yeah, that's
And
true.
You
that's why I
argued
said the
this. You
details.
No, no,
argued
no,
this
Make
with
the
no,
details.
Carmelo. Hold on. You argued this with Carmelo Anthony. It has to be applied here. Just because he's charged with murder does not mean a murder was committed. This was the negligence of the gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
we talked to what you asked several times about the victim. Well, the survivors of the victim are the mother and the father. The father is the one that's negligent.
are you done? Are you
He's
done?
right, you know. He's right, you
Are
know.
you done?
He's right,
Because
you
Go
know.
ahead.
He's right, you
so
know.
He
first
is,
of
but his
all,
point has nothing to do with what he said.
hold
So
on,
yeah.
hold on. Strong and
Go
wrong
ahead.
as always. Strong and wrong as always. Roger asked a simple question. Under what circumstances? Not the case of the link. Not the case of the link. Third time.
Right.
Case of the link. Or when you would hold a child as an adult. We all said heinous crimes. Then Uru gave a falsity of what heinous crimes is. So I had to check Shazam and give the right information so that we're not talking about this particular case.
Thank
We're
you.
talking about in general. So,
General,
sir,
right.
we're talking in general, sir. And then when I asked the question, that's where I fucked up at. Because I asked a bunch of you know what, where you don't have common fucking sense. Yeah, I fucked up there. Yeah, I fucked up there.
But I do want to ask you some you read. I don't know if I missed it or not. Aggravated assault came a few times, right? In on the first two
Yeah.
listings you listed.
Federal and state,
Is that
federal and state, federal and
right?
state.
But I think you read state first, but there were two categories. One was actual, and then the other
Across
category
all
was
cross one was
Attempted.
cross all states and then one is conditional.
okay. So aggravated assault is conditional and across all states.
No, no. I said
No.
so I said consistent against all states. Murder, RAPE, sexual assault, aggravated
Okay.
sexual assault, kidnapping, armed
Aggravated.
robbery,
Okay.
common but conditional, aggravated assault without the word sexual there, voluntary
Okay.
manslaughter, arson, and aggravated battery involving a firearm.
You
And then
can't. You
there was a second group after that you did,
you
and then you
but
said
Then I said
federal.
federal. Then I said federal. Federal would
Oh, okay.
be right, but
Okay.
federal is so it would be there because it's across all states.
when you peel back these charges, what you have to prove is intent. You
Thank you.
cannot, beyond the shadow of a doubt, the intent of any 10-year-old.
You can't.
You don't know if he was playing. You don't know if he thought it was a joke. You don't know if he thought it was a toy. You cannot
Man,
prove it. You
Again, Helen
cannot
Keller.
prove it.
Again, Helen Keller. We were talking about minors who weren't.
I hear that every year.
All
Okay.
right, so
So
do you guys feel the absolute same the closer we move that age towards 18? Let's say if it's a 17 and 364 day year old person. Do you guys think they should never get
No,
charged as an adult?
no, I
You
don't think
should
so.
not get charged as an
For the
adult if
purpose,
it does not.
I
Go
would
ahead.
say
I'm
for the
sorry, Ruru.
benefit of black men overall, I want a hard number. I think
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
I
should
don't
want.
know.
be for the collective of black males. I want a hard number that's being about, and I'm willing to accept the possibility of some 14 or 15-year-olds getting away with some shit because I think it would be better for the collective of black men that we all be treated equally and fairly under the law.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes, sir.
gonna roll with Uru on that one. At the end of the day, everything about anything you pick is not gonna be pretty. You're gonna have some good, you're gonna have some bad. But if I'm 17 years old, 364 days, I want to be charged as a minor. Simple as that.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And I think about it, when I did something wrong when I was a kid, and no matter how we look at it, I wouldn't think an adult is right for charging me as an adult when I'm not an adult. I'm just not. And man, if I can't serve you fries and you gonna charge me as an adult, you an evil person. You an evil mother. You know what? I can't give you fries at McDonald's, but you gonna punish me as an adult? Come on, man.
You know what?
17-year-old
You know what, man? This is something. My bad, GBR. Go ahead.
You should not be able to charge a person as an adult who can't vote or serve on a jury. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make
Hey.
sense. They don't even have a say so on what type of laws they're under. That doesn't make sense.
We
Hey.
found the country on no.
But reset. That happened with Carmelo. That happened
I
with
know it.
Carmelo.
I
Carmelo
know
was
it.
17 years old when that happened.
Yep.
And
I agree.
me and I'll say this, man. And I think we need to do this more as black men. I'm hearing you guys' point, and I'm willing to step back and ponder. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it should be that way. So I'm not saying I got the answers or whatever, but you guys have a legitimate point. It's something I would have to think about. But I still kind of lean towards if it's something like extremely heinous, maybe.
I
But
think we make a mistake when we support harsher treatment for discrete incidents, because what happens is we take discrete incidents, overly sensationalize those.
I get it. Yes.
Apply harsh rules to those, and then selectively determine who they're going to apply those rules against. And they're almost always disproportionately applied against the collective of black men. So strategically, it's a mistake for us to go along with this kind of willy-nilly, this is heinous, this is not heinous, this is adult, this is not. Black men, the collective of black men will lose in that environment every time.
That's a valid point, Black Guru. But do we have any numbers on that? Like any current numbers? I ain't talking about going back to the 50s or 30s or nothing.
Let me throw this example out. Because this happened for some of y'all saw this because y'all been watching long enough that y'all saw this. We talked about hate crimes, and I literally said that nothing should be classified as a hate crime. Whatever the intentions are, you can't really put it on that, and even if you can, we shouldn't mess with that. And Black Crew looked it up while we was on air, and what did he come out with? 55% of the hate crimes was against black folk. That's mainly men, but 55% of hate crimes. Now, I didn't even know this. I just said, I know my country. If we give somebody the right to say this is a hate crime, it's going to affect us more than anybody else. Black Rule looked it up on air, and 55% of the hate crimes was already on us at that particular time. I know this country. If you give them room to make a decision, they're going to always make a decision that's against us. If we want children tried as adults, I see no purpose for a juvenile system. Let's just be what we gonna be. If we can move them up to adults, we don't need a juvenile system.
So let me do a temperature check. So Jado already hopped off the boat. Sims, where you at?
Don't you speak for me, man.
As far as
You just said.
No, man,
You in there,
bro.
Jado?
I'm on the boat. I dove in the water, brother.
as far
Swan
as
dive.
what? How so? As
Sims,
far
where
as
you
what?
at? Are you still on my side? Show any cards? Are you on my lonely?
Yeah, because I'm from a wild place where I've seen a lot of things that I'm not saying none of you guys have seen before, but I've seen a lot of things, man. I've seen little kids with guns bigger than mine.
So you still on my. So where you at?
Yeah, niggas can be tried as adults if they do heinous shit.
Okay, that's what Philly, New York connection, man. We see Chicago nigga.
I actually still had one foot in the boat, bro.
Nah, you so
I just did my foot in there, bro, in the water.
Michael Jordan loving
Hassan says you can only. He says you gonna have 2 feet in the boat. Keep both.
I gotta be in or out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this to Black Oo's point. When laws like this come about, I already know who they gonna hit. Okay, this is a law of do I want my child tried as an adult? That's what this is. It's do I want my child tried as an adult? Because guess what? That white guy that I'm gonna see when I go outside, his child ain't gonna be tried as an adult. I ain't got to worry about that, and he ain't got to worry about that. It ain't gonna be their child.
If my child did something crazy, man, try him as an adult.
Went to a track meet to run track. He got confronted by some bullies bigger than him, a lot bigger than him, presumably a lot stronger than him. He defended himself, and he ended up with a first degree.
Not much. What's happening?
He ended up with a first degree.
Hey, mute up.
I did it.
He was not trying to boost cars or break in the store or assault anybody. That whole day could have. If those guys don't approach him, he'd go on with his life. He'd go off to college or whatever, and he got a first degree murder conviction.
He didn't.
And he was 17 years old. He was not a legal adult when that happened. That's what happens when you have this unfair, biased, bigoted system. That's what happens.
But Reset says it's cool. Reset's cool with that one. Reset's cool with that.
I mean,
I can't speak for Reset.
I don't think he should have got 35 years, but I mean, as far as being charged an adult,
that was not a first degree murder.
I mean, hey, Uru, you're saying that, but it's been proven in court. How are you just saying that?
It was not.
He's been convicted.
All kinds of things happen in court and are overturned on appeal every day.
So what determines whether
every day bullshit ass convictions are overturned on appeal?
We're talking about this
that
one.
Was a bullshit conviction, and I was using that. If you allow me to finish. I was using that to make the point of the inherent error in charging children as adults. That's another example of that.
Now, let me say this real quick, y'all. We sitting here in the country where we got child labor laws, but we gonna charge kids as adults. That sounds dirty to me, because kids cannot defend themselves against adults. I don't care what we say. Children cannot effectively defend themselves against adults. We are literally saying we're going to bully these children. We're going to make rules for you, and then we're going to ignore those rules in it whenever we feel like it. Does that make sense on the level?
Reset was cool with the Carmelo Anthony verdict. So
Verdict or not, though. Verdict or not, he should have never been tried as an adult.
Y'all teammate is suspect.
I'm consistent. I'm consistent. Nope, I'm consistent. I am consistent. I am consistent.
the difficulty with any of this is the meanings of those definitions are flimsy at best. So the best way to approach this is either only charging children if they are children as children, or getting rid of the minor legal system for children. It's either or. You can't have both, because when you have both, you have chaos and inconsistencies, and therefore the validity and the effectiveness of the law lessens. And for some strange reason, we like playing the in-between game, even though it's the worst decision we could make.
And I want to say this real quick.
Game because we want to destroy a particular segment of the population. That's why we created this way.
Yeah, and I want to say shout out to Muggles real quick. Muggles says, "You kill my son, I want you tried as an adult." Now, Muggles, the question is, if your son kills somebody, you want your son tried as an adult?
Bingo. Answer that question. Answer that question right there.
I'm good on both sides of this. You see what I'm saying? When I say stuff, I'm good on both sides of it. It's that simple to me. And as I told y'all before, not that I ever want to have to do it again, but I told you I ain't never regretted hitting somebody. If I hit him, I meant to do it. Okay? It wasn't no going back and readjusting, and I look at the situation differently now, and now I'm gonna cry. No. I hit you because I meant to. I was good with it. Right, no matter how it came out, I'm cool. My thing is, are we cool with this?
If I'm
hold on, we gotta cover Roger. The host of the Roger Report Live is a fictitious character, and what may be said on this panel is not necessarily of reality and or the nature of human beings. Thank you for enjoying the show. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I want to say this because look, I'm a parent. I have children. Look, I'm gonna personally feel a certain type of way if something happens to them, but that don't necessarily mean what I feel is the best to handle the situation and for the betterment of the society. You know, so it's not just about what you want in that situation, as terrible, as painful as it may be. You know, yeah, I have children. I would want to probably bring hell on earth if something happened to them. But don't necessarily mean that's the righteous and the just thing to do and be in that situation for everybody involved.
And I want to defend my position.
And before you defend it, hold on, this is real quick.
Wait till I lose my signal.
No. I'm gonna say shout out to Muggles.
Wait till he loses his signal.
No, I'm gonna say shout out to Muggles, but we still waiting, brother. You said you cool when somebody killed your son, but what about when you on the other side of that now? Come on, Muggles. What you got to say when you on the other side of that? All right, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So I want to be consistent. This is along with what you said. I think that when Carmelo Anthony killed that boy, I said these are children. They're both children, and Carmelo should not be charged as an adult. And no matter how much time he had been given, he should be released at 21. I was consistent with that. Do I think Carmelo's a criminal? Absolutely. He brought a weapon to a school. He's a criminal. I'm consistent. And with this one, there's no way you can charge a 10-year-old as an adult. This is egregious. To even consider it, it's egregious. I'm consistent, man.
Well, I'm gonna say in this particular case, because the Bronx did read something that said they cannot charge him as an adult. So obviously, this was a case with someone that probably attempted to, but ran into a legal situation that stopped them from being able to. And people probably were very cool with it as news started getting out about it. But at the end of the day, like I said, y'all, this is not about that particular case. I decided to do the show, period, because, and honestly, the Carmelo Anthony case is really what gave me the idea.
It is important, Roger, that because it's kind of confusing as
earlier, man. The only reason they didn't charge him as an adult is because they couldn't in the state of Missouri.
I do think it's interesting that apparently there was an attempt to charge him as an adult.
How do we know that?
Come on, let Uru speak, y'all. Come on.
No, I'm just asking, how do we know that? We just, how do we know that?
Just let him get it out before we rebut it.
I'm trying to clarify, was there an attempt to charge him as an adult?
That's what Bronx suggested. I'm asking. How do we know that?
Well, I will say this. I watched an actual news report that was talking about he's about to be the youngest person ever tried as an adult in that particular state, which leads me to believe
that doesn't make it true, Roger.
No. What I'm saying is this was a actual news report that I watched about the situation. This was not a content creator giving an opinion. This is a news report, and they said he's going to be the youngest person in that state's history to be tried as an adult. So that tells me somebody made an attempt to try him as an adult.
No, it doesn't, Roger. They can just put that out there to get you black people riled up, man.
Roger, you got to be careful.
We know they don't put all the
people. Nigga, who is this nigga? Who is this nigga? Like real talk at this point. Who is this motherfucker, bro?
Hey, bro, come on, chill out, dog.
Like he the fucking clan.
Chill out, homeboy.
Nah, boy, you talking like you the fucking clan.
Niggas coming up here like he motherfucking Black Avenger, bro. Chill out, homie.
Look, let's not get into
unless you
dog, can we just respect can we at least respect each other though? Chill out, dog.
Y'all, at the end of the day, he does have a point. You don't know that it happened for sure. No. We got to deal with the realistic thing, y'all. There's things on the news that sometimes they do lie about. I'm just gonna put it out there. The news has been caught lying before, so he can say that.
Roger, there's a difference. So he is the youngest person in Missouri that's been charged with murder. He's not the youngest to tried as an adult.
That's a big difference, man. That's why I'm asking this question, bro. That's all I'm asking.
So you might have heard on the news that he's the youngest person to be able to charged for murder.
But see, y'all playing with semantics. You can't. There's not a murder charge for minors in that state. That's what y'all mixing in.
No. Whoa. Where did that come from?
That is. That's what he's been charged. That's how he's been charged.
Where did you get that info from?
Wait. True Teller just made that up.
He did.
Disregard that. He just made that up.
He just made that up.
I can tell when he's making stuff up. He just made that up. Y'all keep
going.
All right, well, let's do this. Let me give it to usual business because he's supposed to be able to make a 2-minute opening statement that the rest of y'all got. So let's give him his. Usual business. You got the flow.
Okay, to be charging anybody with the intent of murder, bro, you would have to say you got to prove like what somebody else said intent, right? So unless you got this boy on a ring camera or some nanny cam saying, hey, this little motherfucker took my last pack of fruit snacks and I'm about to end his life. Unless you got that on video, you cannot call this a goddamn murder. This, if anything, this was a negligent death necessarily on the father's end. Because at the end of the day, me myself, I went playing on a tree. A tree limb fell, hit my little cousin in the head. He got hurt. He didn't die, granted, but you could almost say, and it seems like in y'all mindset, if a tree hit of a random issue necessarily end up damaging or hurting somebody, then you can almost consider that murder. No, what's the word? Or not ill intent, but negligence on my part for not understanding that quote unquote playing on branches can actually get somebody hurt. So I don't know. I'm just confused at how people are actually seeing these things. But that's it, man.
Well, number one, you set your cousin up. We know it. Everybody here knows it. Number two, number two, man, these are children we're talking about, man. I don't care if you put a gun in a child's hand. I don't think a game or not. You don't know. It's impossible to prove. And then if you take them into the court of law and put them on the stand, bro, they have no idea, no concept of what's really happening, what's really going on, and they don't know how to respond. Even if you don't put them on the stand, they don't know how to choose the proper counsel. It's an impossible case. They should never be charged as adults.
Right.
Never, ever, ever.
Now I'm gonna say this.
I posted in the back chat the news reporting of this, and I'm gonna read briefly a segment of it. Quote: Missouri law states that a child under 12 years old cannot be tried as an adult. So the 10-year-old will not be tried through the 10-year-old will be tried through the juvenile division of the 22nd Judicial Circuit Court, according to a communications officer for the court. So I guess the good thing is the boy didn't break his 12th birthday.
There you go. And I'm gonna say that would lead me to believe that people were attempting to try him as an adult, but they just ran into a legal obstacle that they could not do. That's what that would tell me. And truth be told, I don't need that argument for me to believe that somebody tried to get him tried as an adult, because he's a nigga. There's a lot of things. Well, let me just hold on. Let me say this. I have not confirmed who the person is, the 19-year-old, or any of that information. But there's a lot of stuff going on around this particular situation that look like niggas involved. I'm not saying that 100% for sure. There's an exception to every rule, as they say. But it sure look like some niggas involved.
We need to collectively get together and hire a lawyer that can drag this shit out until he's 20 years old. Just get continuance after continuance until he's 20 years old and let him be out on bond. We need the best lawyer in the world to drag this out. That's what we need.
Let me also say this, because and hopefully they ain't even see it, but there was an insult made to the panel from the chat, y'all. I erased it. Y'all must remember, all panel guests are my guests too. I don't care if the person you hate the most come up here and get on the panel. They still my guests. We will not be insulting them from the chat.
Brock is an exception.
Man, I don't know. Hey, man, as black men, fellas, why can't we disagree and still be civil, man, and have some type of? Come on, man. Like, what? Can we stop this shit, bro?
When you start
We're grown men up here. I don't have to agree with nobody. I don't have to agree, fellas. We can talk it out.
I should be able to kill children and put children in lockdown. Let's say as adults, I'm agreeing with you, disagreeing with you vehemently, bro. I'm sorry, bro. That's some shit I gotta split.
I can't even hear you, homie. I can't even hear you, homie.
Like this, bro. Yeah, I'll put it like this, man. When you start charging children necessarily as grown men, bro, I'm gonna have to necessarily do a hard pass at you necessarily, and depend on the situation.
Did you hear me say that? Did you hear me say that I wanted to charge a 10-year-old as an adult? Did you hear me say that, homie?
I'm gonna say.
Did you hear me say that, dog?
Let me finish what I'm gonna say, right? And when I start hearing people saying, I think I'm sorry.
Oh, now he changed it up.
Hey, bro, I'm
now he said you said you. Now you say did you hear me say that? Did you hear me say that?
I was hearing you implement that necessarily.
Did you hear hinting and saying, bro? Come on, dog. Now you playing games, man.
No, hinting yes, swear, bro. Hinting yes, swear.
Did you hear me say that?
Directly say that. No, I did not hear you directly.
And did you hear me imply that?
I did hear you imply that.
No, you did not, homie. No, you did not.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So just fall back, dog. And that message wasn't just for you. I'm just talking in general, dog.
Yeah.
Can we be cordial, dog? Come on, man.
Usual business misunderstood your message. He came in a little hot. But he insult each and every one of us whenever he disagree with us. We be all kind of bitch ass niggas and all kind of stuff. That's just his style of speech. I don't know why.
Bitch ass nigga is only for Mr. Reason. Bitch ass niggas for only for Mr. Me Too, bro. That's the only motherfucker I know.
Why would you say that, bro? Why would you say that?
Hey, listen, man. I took the nigga out for lunch. He called me a cocksucker. I still fed him. Don't feel bad.
Now, I'm gonna say, getting back to the subject of the show, look, and I'm gonna say, we should be able to disagree with somebody, and even y'all in the audience y'all got to understand, y'all. I give y'all the best show on social media now, and I understand. Look, I know I'm right, and I let these people come up regularly and come be wrong. But I let them keep coming back, so we can't insult them when I let them be wrong, okay? Because everybody who didn't agree with me on that particular day was wrong, okay? But real talk, when it comes down to it, though, my thing is you can always be on the other side of this. You can look at it from one side and come to your conclusion, but you can always be on the other side of it too. Because at the end of the day, some kid could have killed you. Now you're dead. What do you think should happen with life carrying on? Should that child be tried as an adult and you're dead yourself? Or is it your child that killed somebody? Now it's your own son or your own daughter that off somebody. Do you think they should be tried as an adult? And I'm just saying, realistically, I just don't think children should deal with adult repercussions. And when I start thinking about all the stuff kids can't do, to say I'm gonna put an adult consequence on that particular person, that sounds like bullying. I'm just doing it because I can.
If we're gonna sign our
I
children
want to
up,
apologize. I want to apologize. I just want to say what I want to apologize to Jado because maybe I misheard. From what I seen, like to me, in my eyes and my ears, bro, it sounds like you were trying to charge a child with an adult situation. So if I made a mistake, I will apologize ahead of time. I will say I am
No,
sorry.
you know what
Now,
it is.
that's how
Usually,
you do
you
it.
know what it is. You know what it is. He kind of sounds like Mr. Me Too just a little bit, just enough for you to just come in and punch it out.
yeah, man, y'all wow. But if we're gonna agree to sign our children up to be charged as an adults, you're signing your children up to be enslaved. You're signing your children up to be taken from you whenever these white folk get ready, and you have no repercussions, and you don't know what's gonna happen to them. Man, let me tell you something, man. If you dudes ever been inside these facilities and seen children inside these facilities and what they have to go through, you wouldn't be saying this. I promise you. They're being victimized by everybody, including the staff. Some of y'all don't know what you're saying. No, man, we can't do this to children, bro. I don't care what happened. I do not care what happened with a 10-year-old, bro. You cannot charge them, bro. You cannot. You have to remove them from the environment and give them some help, get them some counseling. But, bro, prison? No, man. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And I do want to stress y'all, when do we become the bully? You got children of different ages that cannot defend themselves against us. We're the adults. When do we become the bully? Now, I understand kids gonna do bad stuff. Ain't none of us grow up and we was perfect. Some of us just wasn't as bad as other kids, but we were kids. You can't look back at your own child's self and make a determination that, maybe I did mess up a little bit, but should they really take my life from me? And just because I did X, Y, Z? Because, when you start giving a child, and I'm going to say, be realistic, y'all. If you give a child 20 years, you are really disrupting their life at that point. They're going to get free at some point, yeah. But if you give a 15-year-old 20 years and they don't come out till they 35, what you going to do as a 35-year-old with nothing? You ain't even got your GED 9 times out of 10. What you going to do? You are literally starting from scratch as a 35-year-old, and if you male, don't nobody care about you for real, especially if people see you as a nigga. Lord have mercy if this happened to you or your child, and they male, so now you a 35-year-old nigga with nothing that no one cares about. We really want to do that to a kid? I don't know if that sounds anywhere near fair. I know it's a kid. Yes, they could have done a quote-unquote heinous thing. But man, we really gonna do that to a kid? We trying to guarantee this kid will never have a good shot in society, which does what? Make the kid really kind of go right back into criminal life, and now we got to deal with the same kid again? And now maybe this kid off you because it's just that bad. Now what? Now he 35, he out. But because this situation's so bad, he got to off you just to make it through the night. We good with that? Well, we could have just gave him a reasonable punishment. So there's other stuff to be considered here. Do we want a child to have a shot of getting into society and being okay? Do we want the child to even have a shot at it?
I don't think it's possible for a child that young to get a hold of a gun and an adult not be negligent. Explain to me how an adult is not negligent when a
Well,
10-year-old gets a hold of a gun.
well, I mean, whether there was an adult negligible or not, do we
No,
want the
in
child?
any situation.
No,
I'm
no,
not even talking about this one. Any
no.
situation.
I get that, but what we don't deal with adults the way we deal with adults. But at the end of the day, do we want the child to ever have a chance of being a part of society? Because
That's what I'm defending. That's what I'm defending. I'm defending like this is why you can't charge him. It's impossible for an adult to not be negligent in this type of situation.
And one other thing to consider here, he killed his niece. This wasn't some stranger or whatever. I mean, so that family is effectively ruined. Not just him, not just the obviously the dead baby, but everybody is ruined. Everybody's ruined. The mother, grandmother, everybody is shit. Because this isn't like something that happened out, somebody came from outside of the family and did some terrible thing to this child. No, this destruction occurred within their family. It's hard for me. I mean, even now, I know you want to dump on the father, Reset. Well,
no, I'm not dumping on the
child, but
I'm not
saying,
dumping on. Yeah,
the father lost his child, and apparently the killer of his child was maybe his little brother.
His little brother, probably.
So, I mean, it's just nowhere. Everybody's losing here. Everybody's losing here.
Well, let me say it like this, because I think what you're saying is extremely important, y'all. We got to understand the same people that will go to the trial will be the same people going to the funeral.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The people going to his trial gonna be the same people at the funeral. It's really different.
And as they're crying over that baby, they're gonna be crying over what's happening to that boy.
Now, and this is an extreme case, but at the end of the day, should this boy never have a chance to get into society and be productive? Is that what we want as a society for a boy like that? Do we even want that? Because me, myself, personally, no, I have no reason that I want children. I don't care what they did to never have a shot. I don't ever think that was a good idea. And I don't understand how you put kids in certain systems and then you expect them to come out and be adults that ain't gonna commit crime. Like, I don't even see what we doing.
Yeah, using this as an example, because this is just the example we're talking about today. There's no crime committed here. It's a tragedy.
Yeah,
it's a tragedy, is what has happened. It's not a crime. This is the worst kind of accident.
And let's be real. If
even the
article says that the child found the gun under the bed. So, in my view, the only real bad thing that happened here was, I mean, in terms of intent or behavior, was the guy didn't put the safety on the gun. A lot of people got guns under their mattresses. Let's be real. A lot of people have guns under their mattress. Hey, if somebody breaks in your house, where's that gun going to be that you're going to be able to get to quick enough in order to handle that situation? Especially if, as Bronx says, this is a bad neighborhood, you probably are going to have a gun under a mattress.
Realistically speaking, the gun was bought to be put under the mattress.
Yes.
That's why you bought the gun.
I'm gonna be real. I'm be real with you. If I'm coming up and baiting here in St. Louis, I don't care. If I'm a teenager, I'm carrying a gun. I don't care, man.
Yeah.
I don't care about gun laws. I care about liberty.
So
I'm just being real, man. That's the type of neighborhood baiting is.
I think of is when I look at this, the only thing I think of is, damn, he should have had that gun on safety. I mean, that's the only thing I could see, assuming that those details are true, that the child got the gun from under the mattress, because it's referenced in the article I posted there. Other than that, I don't know what he did. And you guys said that apparently he had properly owned the gun or whatever, because it wasn't a gun charge. So
no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the case.
Sometimes terrible shit happen, and ain't nobody evil when it happens. Sometimes you bump into somebody and they fall down and bust their head open and they die. And it seems like this is kind of more in that direction than just somebody being evil.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that I mean, when it comes down to it, we all gonna make mistakes. I mean, that's just gonna happen. And this would not be a thing. I'm pretty sure this wouldn't even be a thing unless it was some niggas involved. Because this smell like a case against niggas to me. I ain't seen nothing. I don't even know their names to even see if it's a quote unquote black sounding name. It just seemed like niggas involved. Now, I could be wrong. This could be that exception to the rule, because they do happen every once in a while. Okay. Now, if it's an exception to the rule, then I can understand maybe why there's no illegal gun charges being put on if that gun is not a legal gun. But it's a 19-year-old, so a 19-year-old.
I don't believe for a second they give him a first degree murder charge, even though it's apparently going through the juvenile system. I don't think they're giving a first degree murder charge to a white kid under these same circumstances. They're doing all kinds of things to explain how this was an accident and all that kind of shit. And it's a terrible, horrible thing for the whole community. And we're just so guilt-ridden and distraught about what happened. That's how that story gets spun.
And I don't think that if it was a white kid that he gonna be the aggressor in one case and then the defendant, a victim in another case. When the 19-year-old get charged, I just, that sounds crazy as I don't know what. But hey, that's what it is. But I say we are the adults. We got to start asking ourselves a question: is it a moral thing? Should it be a legal thing? Whatever you base things on, is it okay for us as adults to actually charge children as adults? They're not us. We are literally acknowledging they're not us. And then we gonna say we gonna do you like us anyway? Does that sound right in any category? You can't make me a sandwich professionally, but I'm gonna treat you like an adult criminal. That sounds cold-blooded to me.
Well, if you're 12 years old in Missouri, they got you.
Yep.
You can't put my chicken in a box. I go to KFC. You're not allowed to put my chicken in a box because you're 12. But we gonna charge you as an adult?
You can't vote. You can't drive a car. You can't sign up for the military. You can't rent a car. You can't sign a loan contract to get a car.
Can't smoke
as a 12-year-old. Yeah. Drink alcohol. None of that. But you can do hard prison time.
Yep. They can get that sweat equity out of you.
All right. Well, Creator then came up. He then came up toward the end. But guess what? I like them. So
hold on. Before Creator go, let me say this, because I might be momentarily distracted. Forgive my energy on this subject. I know, particularly, I had an exchange with Shark, maybe a little bit with Jado as well. But this is kind of going back to the Carmelo thing, man, and what happened with the young brother, I forget his name, out in South Carolina. We're going in a bad direction, man. And I see us being kind of slipping in what's happening. Now maybe it's time for off-channel back talk or whatever, and I'll maybe table that discussion there. But I'm a little bit disappointed in how the Black Manosphere has been handling this shit. I'm actually very disappointed. But I'll, like I said, I'll table that for maybe off channel.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say publicly, he disappointed you niggas, not me, because I'm great. Okay. but real talk though, let's let Creator get his 2 minutes because we ain't got that much more show to go.
I ain't gonna take 2, man. I just wanted to come up and say, hey, I appreciate y'all, brother, for coming up here speaking y'all piece on a daily basis and not worrying about how many people, not worrying about statistics, if you will, right? I'm sure you're concerned, but I just appreciate you coming up here and just being real. And when you real and you speak your piece on these controversial topics, it's an unpopular opinion, and you're not going with what everybody, you're not saying what everybody want to hear. So I just want to commend you, Roger, for opening up, being consistent. Since I've been on this thing for a little more than a year now, you've been consistent on a daily basis. Shout out, welcome back, Black Uru. It's always good to hear your voice. We definitely appreciate you in the chat, but your game need to be heard. You understand? And all the rest of you, usual business, Black Reset, no placeholder, Grunt or Brunt, Jado. Ain't seen you in a minute, but I mean, this just needs to be. This need to be said, and I think this is indicative. It's a great panel, indicative of Black American fathers and patriarchy. So I just wanted to come up and say that. Now, real quick, yeah, that's a tragedy. Black men can't make zero mistakes, bro. Zero mistake. Any mistake, this quote unquote black or what do they call it? Black shit. You know what I'm talking about. They tired of us. The black I'm tired of us.
Black fatigue.
Black fatigue. That's what it is. Black fatigue. So now they didn't spread it that phrase throughout the community. So anytime a black person now does, you see it. What did Black Guru just say? We see the trajectory, and I don't like where this is going. I really don't. So this is showing to the world that what they did to Carmelo wasn't fair, right? It was quick and unfair. Even though it was what it was, it still was unfair. And it's like now it's setting a precedent that we can't be us, and being us scares everyone else. And since as soon as we do any minor thing or major thing, it's going to be looked at as major. No matter what it is, we're going to try you to the fullest extent of all the laws. And guess what? We'll make some new amendments. But I'll land it there.
I'm gonna say real quick, shout out to Stigma Boy. He made 2 comments. He says we are freaking human, and he also said we can make a mistake. Damn it. Well, I'm gonna say, Sigma Boy, I do agree with your sentiment, but according to American sentiment, no, we can't. We can't make no mistake. No, we can't. It ain't gonna be no mistake. You got a 10-year-old right now who's gonna get the book thrown at him because he's 10. But hey, I think he a nigga. Now, I have not proven that yet. I have not had any information to go along with that because I don't even know technically what the 19-year-old is. But I don't expect a 19-year-old to be in a home, especially somebody else's home, and his gun is used in a suspected crime, and it's just on him. You know what I'm saying? And unless this it's got to be a nigga, man. This got to be a nigga. Because if this was a white home, this would just be an accident. It'd be a tragic accident. It'd be an accident that would even hit the news. But the 19-year-old ain't finna get charged with nothing. The 10-year-old ain't finna get charged. It's a tragic mistake. They're gonna investigate it, look into it, just to make sure that it was a quote-unquote tragic mistake, and that's gonna be about the end of it. So that's why I believe it's some niggas involved. I'm not saying black people, even though I respect them as black people. I'm saying how the legal system looks at them. These are niggas, and we gonna get these niggas. This nigga 19, he been free too long already. He's 19 years old and he's free and he can buy a gun. We got to do something about this nigga. Now this 10-year-old, we can circumvent him from ever even getting one legally. And we can get a whole lot of sweat equity out of him. And yeah, at 19 and 10, man, you can play with these charges and get man, you can get a judge where you get what, a good 150 years out these two?
I mean, 20, even at 20. You know what I'm saying? At 20 years, 10 years old, say he gets 20. He
I'm
come out
saying
30 plus with nothing.
you can throw enough stuff at them that by the time they finish, they're gonna be done served.
A life
You can get
sentence.
75 years out of both of them. Get you 150 years out of this, but you can't let them walk away. You can't let them walk away. Now, I see I got one more guest backstage. I don't know if he was coming up to try to join the show, but we are at the 2-hour 48-minute mark, so we finna close out. Okay. Y'all, is there anyone who truly believe they need to make a last statement that's gonna keep me up here longer than 3 hours? Who's that person?
So now
man,
you're not gonna introduce me?
Oh,
Is that what we're doing
my
right now?
bad. You know what? My bad. I shouldn't have let you up. That was really kind of a mistake. But since you got up, I'm gonna let you. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I didn't mean to let you get up because I was trying to close the
And
show out. But since you got up here,
you're not gonna say my name neither. Say my name.
God bless America. KKK. America.
All right. Well, you got in here, so and there's your name. So go ahead, my brother. Go ahead. You lucky today, though. You lucky today. Go ahead.
Well, hey, Negroes cannot make mistakes, man. You got to be perfect, and that's why I always try to push the Kryptonian protocol. You got to do everything by the book, because in America, the good old America, you make one tiny mistake. It doesn't matter how old you are. It could be 12. It could be 14. It could be 10. How old was the youngest black boy who was convicted and subsequently executed for quote unquote something he didn't do? I think he was under 16 years old.
George Stinney,
He was
14.
12. He was younger than that.
Yep. He got trialed as an adult, found guilty. Go figure. And subsequently got yeeted out of this earth.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's not new. I know many of you are saying that, oh, it's the Carmelo Anthony effect. No, they've been doing this for a while. This is going to be just another one in their long list of convicting low Negroes, because as the incarceration rate of black men decreases, they're going to go harder on the youngers. You know what I mean? Because us growns, we avoid mistakes like this. You know, we're not gonna get involved into a fight because somebody stepped on our J's and we're 45 years old. We're not going to get involved in some BS. Meanwhile, we got wives, children to take care of over some petty stuffs called street cred. We're not defending street cred at 45 years old anymore. So who they left with? Because many of you, these youngins, they would rather sit in front of their computers, shaking their behinds for likes on TikTok. You know, you don't see them boys working in the corners anymore. I don't know why. I miss them. You don't see them that much. So, them little 14 years old, who are very, very, very impressionable, they're going to crack the whips on them, because at the end of the day, somebody got to be the slave in this bitch. And it's not going to be me. I'm too old for this nonsense. Thank you.
Well, hold on. God, I mean, man, there was a lot of wisdom in what you said. And I think what you presented should be highlighted, and you brothers should listen to a lot of wisdom in what you said. And this is what disappoints me about what has been going on here with the young brother Cyrus and Carmelo, and this instance like here. The point you make, super valid point. Us older guys, we're probably not going to have these problems, because like you described, you know, a lot of situations we're going to get easily discerned, avoid, get out of, you know, move out of, relocate out of, conveniently avoid. We're creating, or we're helping to create the environment to destroy the young brothers that are coming up behind us. And I just find that to be treacherous. I find that to be treasonous. Some of what's going on around here. And shit, and part of why I kind of came in here furiously was not just because of this situation, which is terrible. I just see a kind of treasonous element involving amongst black men where us older brothers are selling out younger brothers. And I'm just not having that. I'm not having that at all.
Ross, you gonna make her?
Uru, thank you for coming back, taking your belt off, and reestablishing order around her. Because there's been a lot of coonery. There's been a lot of coonery in your
I've seen a lot of banjo
and I just want to put that on the table.
And tap dancing and knee tapping and man.
Yeah.
All right, I want to say something myself, but Jado was going to say, can he say something? So I'm going to let Jado get it real quick, and then I'm going to close it out. Go ahead, brother.
I prefer harmonica. Hey, I'm not so rigid in whatever my thinking and my ideology and my thoughts that I can't be proven wrong. So, and I said that earlier in the show, like you guys have made some compelling arguments to make me really think that maybe that you are right. So I think we need to be able to do that in many different facets, man, in many different arguments. So you guys made some compelling arguments, man, and I'll have to consider my thinking. But let me just point out that I have never been responsible for causing any harm or locking any black man or young black man up or boy up. Let me just say that, and I'll end right there.
All right, and I'm gonna say, y'all, because and this goes along with the wisdom that who wasn't even supposed to get up here today, but God bless America. America. He got off real quick with a lot of great wisdom. And y'all, we do need to take into account that a lot of us have learned a good part of the game, and we've been able to sidestep here, sidestep there. System caught us, some of us a little bit, but we got out and we didn't end up going back. Guess what, y'all? These white folks got a new plan for these niggas. That's what the thing is. White folks got a new plan. Because if niggas learn to sidestep and we can't lock them up, then that means we're going to have to take y'all younger and we're going to have to be more harsh because we can allow you to get to 20 years old. We can't allow you to get to 25. We can't allow you to get to 30 because we may never get you. Don't think for a second the people who plan all this stuff out ain't noticing patterns of behavior amongst people in different age groups. Don't ever think that's not happening. There was a trial not too long ago. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all are aware of it. And a gentleman literally said, you know what I'm saying, in public, we need this young sweat equity out of these youngsters. We got an age in prison population. This particular guy, I think he was around 20 years old. He said, we need that. He wasn't concerned with whether they did something wrong or right. He just said, we, as a prison population, need some young, fresh blood in here. Send these niggas through. We got it from here. So don't think they ain't making plans, y'all. You may have escaped, but they got their eye on your son, and they definitely got their eye on your grandson. So I'm just going to say, think about that too. And we're going to close it here, y'all. It's been a great show. If you're new here and you like getting access to the best content on social media, then I recommend you subscribe to the channel. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Chicago time, not where you happen to be. I'm going to say to everybody out there who's going to do something for the 4th, y'all celebrate, but be careful. Okay, y'all celebrate, but be careful. And if you don't know, I do get the major holidays off, y'all. I do take the major holidays off, but it's the 3rd, it ain't the 4th. So I'm here. But y'all have a great time. Just be careful. Enjoy your loved ones and all that great stuff. And I will see y'all Monday. Long live the habitual line stepper. Oh, you know, hold on. Also, I'm going to say shout out to Black Uru Strikes. I'm going to say you came up fine. You had a lot of vigor that you ain't been able to get off in a while anyway. So I'm going to say, as far as I'm concerned, no harm, no foul. I hope other brothers will agree. You ain't got to get off in a while. So, hey, we got to expect a little something. We got to expect a little something. So y'all have a great weekend. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
God bless America.